To improve the golden moment of the opportunity and catch the good that is in our reach is the great art of life. Good afternoon, everyone. I, Dr. Lavna KB, take this opportunity to welcome each one of you to the induction workshop for guest lecturers organized by Mangalore University in association with Association of British Scholars, Mangalore chapter. Let me first acknowledge the presence of some of our eminent guests and resource speakers. It is indeed our pleasure to have among us the president of today's program, Professor P. Subramanya Edipaditaya, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Mangalore University, Registrar, Professor Kishore Kumar C.K., and the resource persons, Professor K.R. Chandrasekhar, Dr. S.M. Shivprakash, Professor Machinath Patabi, and also we have the convener of today's program, Professor B.R. Manjunath, Sir, and Professor A.M. Khan, Sir. Welcome you all once again. One song could change a moment. One idea could change the world. One step can start a journey, but a prayer can change the impossible. To start this induction workshop for guest lecturers, let us invoke the blessings of our Lord with prayer song. Now I request Dr. Hemashri K, Department of Chemistry, and Dr. Pavitra M, Food Science and Nutrition Program, Department of Biosciences, to lead us with a prayer. I request the gathering to raise.
मैत्री भजत अखिल जेत्री मैत्री भजत अखिल जेत्री आत्मवदेव परानपि पश्यत आत्मवदेव परानपि पश्यत युद्धं त्यजत स्पर्धां त्यजत युद्धं त्यजत स्पर्धां त्यजत त्यजत परेष्वक्रममाक्रमणम् त्यजत परेष्वक्रममाक्रमणम् मैत्रीं भजत अखिल जेत्री मैत्रीं भजत अखिल जेत्री जननी पृथ्वी कामदुगास्ते जननी पृथ्वी कामदुगास्ते जनको देवः सकल दयालु जनको देवः सकल दयालु दाम्यत दत्त दयध्वं जनत दाम्यत दत्त दयध्वं जनत श्रेयो भूयात् सकल जनानां श्रेयो भूयात् सकल जनानां श्रेयो भूयात् सकल जनानां श्रेयो भूयात् सकल जनानां श्रेयो भूयात् सकल जनानां.
Thank you, Dr. Hemashri K. and Pavitra M. A warm welcome is the first sign of hospitality. Words of welcome fill an occasion with warmth and makes one feel that he is meant to be there. I take this pleasure of requesting Professor B.R. Manjunath Sir, convener of this program, to welcome the gathering.
Thank you, Mrs. Lavina. Good afternoon, everybody who are gathered here, and also viewing through the live streaming of this program, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Edipetaya, who is also the President of Association of British Scholars, Mangalore Chapter, respected Registrar of Mangalore University, Professor Kishore Kumar C.K., Secretary of the Association of British Scholars, Professor K.R. Chandrasekhar, IQAC Director and Chairman of Material Science, Professor Manjunath Pattadi, one of the conveners of this workshop and Chairman of Department of Electronics, Professor A.M. Khan, young guest lecturers gathered here and also following this program through YouTube, chairpersons of different departments, staff, invitees, ladies and gentlemen. I take this opportunity to welcome you all for this program on behalf of Mangalore University and also on behalf of Association of the British Scholars Mangalore Chapter. The main key person behind organizing this workshop is none other than our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Edipetaya sir, who insists that we have to provide something to the younger generation. Whatever we may give it, it may be insufficient other than knowledge. So knowledge is most important, that cannot be stolen. So to improve the knowledge, this program has been arranged because in our university and nearby institutes around university, there are people who have international exposure in terms of knowledge and also research, and many of the senior faculty members have been superannuated. Because of this, there is a wide gap between the young faculty members, especially the guest lecturers and the senior faculty members. So which is actually, it is hindering the growth of the institution. So to avoid this lacuna, we have gathered here to in the form of workshop to educate young people to increase the efficiency of their teaching and research, and also indirectly to improve the quality of students because you are all teachers. So this program has been organized here. In this regard, I welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Edipetaya sir, with a flower deed. I also welcome our Registrar of Mangalore University, Professor C.K. Kishore Kumar sir, for this function with a flower. Also welcome Professor Chandrasekhar, Secretary of the ABS. I welcome IQAC Director, Professor Manjunath Pattadi, and also one of the conveners of this workshop, Professor A.M. Khan, for this function. Also welcome most important guest faculty members who are gathered here, and also who cannot able to come here, they are viewing through the YouTube. I welcome you all this for this function, and also I welcome chairpersons of different departments, staff members, and also others for this function. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We also welcome you, sir. Academic success depends on research and publication. Multidisciplinary research is one of the best undergoing research in the field of science and other disciplines. It takes place when faculties from different disciplines work independently on a common problem on research questions. To know more about multidisciplinary research, we have with us Professor K.R. Chandrasekhar. Professor K.R. Chandrasekhar worked as a professor in Department of Botany, Mangalore University. He is a motivating mentor, researcher, a member of an academy for promoting science. He is one of the successful, intelligent, imaginative administrator of Mangalore University. Currently, he is working as a scientist and director of IQAC, Manipur University. He is a secretary of Association of British Scholar, Mangalore chapter. With this brief introduction, now I request Professor K.R. Chandrasekhar sir to give us information on activities of British Scholars, Mangalore chapter, followed by a talk on multidisciplinary research. Over to you, sir.
Honorable Vice Chancellor and also the President of Association of British Scholars Mangalore Chapter and my good friend Professor Subramania Edapaditaya, the Registrar of the University Dr. Kishore Kumar, Dr. Manjunath Pattabi, Dr. Manjunath, Dr. Kaun and my dear colleagues. I take this as a privilege to be with you in this afternoon. I always take the pleasure to come to Mangalore University because I miss a lot from this university. I have taken lots and lots from this university. I am not very sure whether I will be able to give it back to the university or to the society at large at the end of our career. So with that in mind, whatever the opportunity, occasion, I get a chance to come over here, I'll make it a point that this is my priority to come over here and to be with you people, at least for a short time. My dear friends, as I said, I have taken sufficient things from this university and this is only a part of my giving back to this university, in particular and at large to the society. You have all been nourished, nurtured, educated, got all the facilities from the taxpayers' money and from the nature. I always have the gratitude towards the nature first and then for the other things. Before going into the multidisciplinary aspect of research, I have also been assigned the task of just introducing what is ABS and what is the role of ABS in education. Association of British Scholars is a network or an association of like-minded people, those who have got an opportunity to go to United Kingdom and get the training over there and come back in India and start their career. Or maybe those who are already there in service got the opportunity to go either on deputation or on leave and get the training, exposure in abroad and come back and start continuing their research career in India. The British Commission normally awards the fellowships for young, energetic, enthusiastic, intelligent graduates. Maybe it is for doctoral studies for 3 years or for postdoctoral studies for 1 year. Earlier it was for 1 year and now it is for only 6 months, and there are various other fellowships, other schemes where the researchers can go spend 3 months to 6 months in UK, get the training, get good exposure in good laboratories and get the expertise, opinions on various research topics, come back and can start their or initiate their research back home. So, the like-minded people in Chennai in the year 1985 started this Association of British Scholars. And later, it spread to other states in the country also. So, now, there are about 22 Association of British Scholars in India spread across the country, being divided into northern chapters, southern chapters, eastern chapters and western chapters. Mangalore University come under western chapter Mangalore University Association, sorry, not Mangalore University, Association of British Scholars Mangalore chapter was started somewhere in early 90s. There were many scholars those who have got the experience abroad and came back to India and working elsewhere in different institutions including Mangalore University. At one point of time during 1992-2005, a good number of scholars got the opportunity to go abroad and get the training. We belong to that category. I think every year at least 3 to 5 scholars used to get the opportunity to go to UK and get the training for about at least 3 to 5 years. That was a golden period for most of the young lecturers during those period who got the opportunity to go out and come back. And the very purpose of this association is to, after coming back, through the Association of British Scholars, those who have got the opportunity to get the training abroad, particularly in United Kingdom, should share their knowledge, socio-cultural background at UK and the training that they could get at United Kingdom. All these things should be shared with either the fellow colleagues or the people at large in the society. This was the concept and genesis of Association of British Scholars. Since 1990, probably onwards, this Association of British Scholars has been active. Initially, most of the office bearers were in then NITK Suratkal, KRSA Suratkal, and later Fisheries College was holding the most of the office bearers position, and maybe last decade Mangalore University has been able to organize this ABS activities. And in the last 4 years, we were very lucky to have the Vice Chancellor of Mangalore University as President of Association of British Scholars. Maybe it is only after Professor Edapaditaya as the Vice Chancellor and the President of Association British Scholars has taken over as the President of Association British Scholars, and we have activated probably in a better way, because we could get a forum, we could get a stage, we could also get a moral, financial, ethical, all kinds of support from the university only because of the President and the Vice Chancellor of Mangalore University. So on behalf of Association of British Scholars, I think it is my primary duty to thank the Vice Chancellor and also the President of Association of British Scholars on this August occasion. Thank you very much, sir. This is with regard to the brief introduction about the Association of British Scholars. Now I come to multidisciplinary research. I would like to wind up my brief talk in about 10 minutes from now. My dear students, sorry, not students, this has been the practice. My dear fellow colleagues, research is nothing but, it is quest for knowledge, search for knowledge. You need not be a master degree holder, you need not be a PhD holder to start research or to initiate research. It is always said and widely accepted that a just born baby or up to 5 or 10 years, the baby is a good scientist, a good researcher, because the inquisitiveness that the baby has got is much high. The thinking ability of that kid is much more higher than all of us. Maybe we have to accept the facts. When you say research, primarily you should be able to think in a different way. Look at the things probably in a different manner. Then you will become a good researcher. You get many ideas when you look at the things, when you look at the nature. You don't have to do anything. You just observe. You just monitor the changes that is happening in nature. You will get good number of ideas. You will be able to list number of newer observations in your notebook. If you start observing the things around you, all the inventions, what we refer today, what we have with us today, have not been invented by only the scientists. Many times, it's the popular people, the tribal people, those who are making their living in villages, have also contributed a lot to our knowledge. Ultimately, the very purpose of research is to increase your knowledge base. And this increment in the knowledge base is possible not only with the academicians, but all kinds of people in the society. Everyone, if thinks in a different way and probably approach the fact in a different manner, he will be a very good researcher. Maybe with one or two examples, I would like to illustrate this, and probably that will be the end of my talk. I can understand the psychology of the listener that after a heavy lunch, if you think that there are 4 to 5 speakers to bombard with their research findings in front of you, I am sure that you will get bored and you will not be able to concentrate after anymore. So I know that keeping that in mind, I just would like to tell you 1 or 2 stories and wind up my talk. One story I would like to start with the civilization of India. With the civilization of India, Indian civilization started in in Sindhu region near Himalayas, and the tribal people were making their living in Himalayas. And naturally, you know that you can imagine the life of the tribal people living in a remote village. I don't have to say it is a remote village because everything was remote at that point of time when the civilization just began. So at that point of time, there were no shops, no cinema theaters, no malls, no hotels, nothing were there. Whatever that they had in their surroundings, it was possible for, Professor Shivprakash. They were making their living in the remote area, in a very remote place. Nothing was available. You can just imagine that situation. And they were just looking at the nature and they were just experimenting with nature, in nature, that what to do, how to make their life, what to eat, how to make their shelters, and all those things. It was a kind of innovation for them to make their living in a proper, possible manner. So, while living in that condition, this is only one example I just would like to cite, that those tribes, just watching the animals going here and there, snakes, monkeys, and all those things. So, incidentally, one tribe observed many times that whenever you must have heard of snake and monkeys fight, I am just quoting that, nothing else. So, one tribal person started observing the fight between snakes and mongoose. And these mongoose, before getting into the fight with the snakes, they used to chew a kind of leaf and then get into the fight with the snake. It was very surprising, the observations. But he didn't bother much at that point of time. But later when he observed subsequently, he thought that the leaf must be doing something with the monkey before getting into the snake. So it was just a very casual observation of a local layman. And after some time, many people started observing that, and it was true in fact. Mongoose used to, I don't know whether you have made an observation, I have not made an observation, but I heard people saying that whenever the mongoose getting into the fight with snakes, they chew a particular plant leaf and then start fighting. And later, people came to know that must be having some compound which works against the snake venom. That is nothing but what the plant that today we identify as Sarpagandha. Ravalfia serpentina, we call it in botanical term. And later, after I think 2,000 years, people could identify that plant as Ravalfia serpentina, and then the chemical scientists started working on it and isolated the compound present in that particular plant. And simultaneously, this is one aspect of the story, simultaneously another population which originated in the regions of Bihar, they made another observations. There was one insane person and little man, little madman, we call those people as semi-crack sometimes. See why it was healthy when I was there. So, one such person ate some leaf and his insaneness become reduced. And this observation led to other people also to make an experiment and started advocating this plant leaf to the people, those who are suffering from insomnia, etc., etc. And later, much later, the scientists came to know that the very same plant is responsible for, responsible against snake bite and also responsible to reduce the problems of insomnia and such other ailments. And later, it was also found to know that it is a very good anti-hyperactivity compound. Anti-hyperactivity compound. So, the same plant, you can now imagine that, identified two different people at two different provinces with different approach, ultimately ended with one product that is what we now use it for either treating snake bite or treating hypertension or for reducing insomnia. So, whom do you give the credit at this point? What kind of research it is you call it? This is one example. You might say that this is written in Puranas and other things. I quote another example of recent origin. In 1885, there was a project coming up in Silent Valley, in Kerala, Silent Valley region. A dam was proposed to be constructed, and during that time, a commission was designated by the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi under the leadership of one director of botanical research at Palod in Trivandrum, Dr. Pushpangadan, with a team of 16 scientists, All India Coordinated Research Project on Ethnobotany, to enumerate the flora present in that region, because the local people in Kerala were opposing the coming of a dam. So, the government wanted to take a baseline data of the fauna and flora of that region, and that's why this commission was constituted. And when this commission started exploring into the forest for various plants and animals, a team of 16. Whenever you go to the forest, we normally take one local guide along with us for the route or for mapping or direction guidance. So much so, even these people were taking few guides from the local tribe called Kani. They are called Kani tribes. So few people used to accompany the scientists all the way through the forest. Sometimes you may have to, when you enter to the forest, walk down about 3, 4, 10 kilometers up to 20 kilometers in a day and come back. You should not last in the forest. That's why you take these people. In those days, there were no mobile phones or directives like your, what is that called, position tracking. Such instruments were not there. They used to rely upon only the locally available guides. And when these people, along with the scientists exploring the fauna and flora, while walking, these people with all their scientists, all their energy drinks, protein-rich food, they used to get fatigued when they walk in the forest for kilometers together. Maybe 5-10 kilometers if they walk, they always used to get fatigued. But surprisingly, these Kani tribes, they were never used to get fatigued. They were never used to exhibit symptoms of tiredness. The scientists were astonished and asked, what do you eat? And they said, nothing. Whatever that you bring, whatever that you give, we eat. Nothing else we eat. We don't bring anything else other than what you give. These scientists were really surprised. How do these people able to make their energy level to that extent? And the scientists started observing what these people eat while going into the forest. They saw that whenever they enter into the forest, one particular small plant leaf they used to chew. And these scientists also started chewing those leaves in the subsequent days. That plant is now called Arogyapecha, Trichopus xylonatus. It's a very small plant of about 3 feet height. It's a shrub. And later, these scientists took that plant and researched in the laboratory and found an energy-rich compound in that, and they have applied for a patent, and the patent was granted to those scientists, and ultimately the scientists wrote in the patent application itself that whatever the benefit that we derive out of this patent, 50% of this patent should go to those tribal people who have been responsible for inventing or at least giving the lead to invent this Juveni. The tonic is now called Juveni, that is commercialized. It's available now. And the patent was sold for 5 years at the rate of 10 lakhs per year during those days, 1995 and 2000, between those periods. And you can imagine the amount the tribal community received as patent for giving the lead to this research. Ultimately, my dear friends, my time is coming to an end, that for a researcher, you need not have any degree, you need not have any qualification. If you have a good observing power, good thinking power, and if you can look things in a different way, probably you will be a very good researcher. And in addition to that, why I have chosen the topic multidisciplinary research is that if you just look at the examples that I have given you right now, is not by one individual. Only one layman will be able to give the lead, and it is the contribution of so many people, starting from identification of plant, a botanist involved, and identification of the compounds, the pharmacology, chemistry people are involved, and taking this plant for the development of the drug, the pharmacy people involved, pharmacochemistry, pharmacodynamics, pharmacognosy, many disciplines are involved in this research. In both the cases, many researchers are involved in the examples that I have cited. My dear friends, the research is one thing which can be the property of anybody and everybody. With the increasing population around the country, it's a global phenomenon. The complexity is also increased. The nature, even in nature also, a lot of complexity has been increased. So, to overcome that, our approach should also be multidimensional. When you have multiple complex problems in front of you, your approach should be multidimensional. And this multidimensional approach probably is possible only with the multidisciplinary research. Many times you use the jargons like multidisciplinary research, interdisciplinary research, transgress research, so on and so forth, collaborative research, and many things. But ultimately, it's one and the same that the people with different background, different exposure should come and look at the same problem in different angle, multiple angle, and probably the solution will be definitely the best one. So with this, I take this opportunity to thank all those who are concerned with organizing this program and also giving me an opportunity to share my ideas. With this, I would like to add last sentence that I wish that Mangalore University, with people like young, energetic, highly imaginative brains like you, should be able to take its flag to the little more and more heights during the course of time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for briefing us on what is the activities and role of ABS and also on interdisciplinary research patents with the suitable scientific examples. So we have Dr. S.M. Shivaprakash, sir. So he has joined us. So we welcome you, sir, to this induction workshop for guest lecturers. I request Jason, faculty, to welcome him florally. Zeal without knowledge is fire without light. So we have with us Dr. S.M. Shivaprakash, former Director of Extension, Karnataka Veterinary Animal and Fisheries Science University, Bidar, former Dean, College of Fisheries, Mangalore. He obtained his Bachelor of Fisheries Science and Master of Fisheries Science from College of Fisheries, Mangalore, and PhD from Mangalore University, Mangalore. He received Young Scientist Award and Interlab Ambala Gold Medal by Indian Academy of Ethology, Best Research Project Presentation Award, ICAR, CIFRI, Kolkata. He served as a member of Board of Management at Tamil Nadu Fisheries University, Chennai, as a Secretary of Association of British Scholars, Mangalore chapter. He served as an external examiner for several PhD students of Fisheries College and member for selection of subject matter specialist, ASRB, New Delhi. He also worked as principal investigator of an RKVY project on creating awareness among coastal fisheries folk of Karnataka to observe FAO's Code of Conduct for Responsible Fisheries. He published 9 books. He is an All India Radio Grade B artist, presenting humor programs, personality development, key to happiness, zeal for life, etc. With this brief introduction, I invite Dr. S.M. Shivaprakash sir for his inspiring talk on zeal for life, the quintessential ingredient of a teacher and a researcher. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. At the outset, I express my apologies for entering the hall late, but nevertheless, I logged into YouTube. I was listening to from the beginning. Very happy to be here in the campus where I pursued my PhD. This university, it started in 1980, has shown tremendous strides. We used to compare with the Nagarjuna University, which also was started in 1980, but when we had gone there for a conference in 1990, we hardly could see any developments at par with Bangalore University. We were comparing. Nevertheless, friends, as our friend Dr. Chandrasekhar has pointed out, now the baton is in your hands. Naturally, from generation to generation, it gets passed on, and that zeal to take it forward to the heights naturally lies in your hands. So this, I suppose, very timely that an induction program like this has been organized. I am not any expert in the field of this teaching teachers or advising teachers or anything like that, but based on my own experience, let me try to delineate some of the experiences so that it may a little bit inspire you. To begin with, at the outset, I would like to quote a Kannada statement, a quote in Kannada, ಒಂದು ಕವಿವಾಣಿ. ಇದನ್ನು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಯಾವುದೇ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಇದನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಆರಂಭದಲ್ಲಿ. ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಮಳೆ ಬಾರದೆ ಹೋದರೆ ಭೂಮಿಗೆ ಬರ, ಮಳೆ ಬಾರದೆ ಹೋದರೆ ಭೂಮಿಗೆ ಬರ, ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಹೋದರೆ ಬದುಕೇ ಬರ. ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಡೀ ಜೀವನವೇ ಬರಡು. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಲವ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್, ವೇರ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಲವ್ ನೇಚರ್, ವೇರ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಲವ್ ಯುವರ್ ಓನ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನ್, career, where you will be. If you don't love your family, where you will be. Just a small thought for you to ponder over. Having said that, friends, another anecdote I normally quote to students, but you all are teachers today. Nevertheless, there is a saying, once a teacher, always a student. Once a teacher, always a student. Therefore, I would feel this anecdote is also very timely. Swami Vivekananda, after his famous tour of Europe and America, he returned to India. Someone asked Swamiji, now that you have seen the West, what did you learn from the West? Swamiji replied, there I saw in the national hearts of Europe and America a tremendous power of faith in people themselves. An English boy will tell you, I am an Englishman, I can do anything. An American boy will tell you, I am an American man, I can do anything. So will any European boy. Will any of our Indian boys say the same thing here? No. Not even the boys' fathers. We have lost faith in ourselves. These were the lamenting words of Swami Vivekananda, of course, 100 years back. I wish Swamiji was alive today to see that our Indian youth have demonstrated to the world that they are number one in information technology. They are going to be number one in biotechnology, and in almost all disciplines, Indians are marching ahead. Not just that alone, Swamiji was lamenting about the unhygienic conditions prevailing in the country. That was the major reason why life expectancy was hardly 35-40 years. Everywhere contagious diseases. I wish Swamiji was alive today to see Swachh Bharata that exists today. These are some of the insights that should make us to think over, am I having confidence in me? Do I have self-confidence? Just ponder over that. You will realize how important self-confidence is. When Napoleon Bonaparte was studying in military school, the inspector came for inspection, how they are being taught and how educated they have become, skillful. When he happened to ask Napoleon Bonaparte, a student in the military school, he asked him, get up, what's your name? Napoleon Bonaparte. What do you want to become in your life? He immediately says, without any hesitation, I want to become the emperor of this kingdom. What an indomitable confidence that the boy had. He proved it too. Such kind of self-confidence we should have. If not, we becoming emperors, at least we become emperor in our own field of teaching and research. That kind of self-confidence we should build in ourselves. Mind is, after all that matters. If you determine, you will achieve. There is a saying, mind can change heaven into hell and hell into heaven. John Milton has said these words. Mind is very important. So we should develop that self-confidence in our mind. Swami Vivekananda has again said, a sound mind in a sound body. So we should all have sound physics, sound health. ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸುಂದರವಾದ ಮಾತಿದೆ, ಐಶ್ವರ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲೇ ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠವಾದುದು ಜ್ಞಾನ, ಐಶ್ವರ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲೇ ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠವಾದುದು ಜ್ಞಾನ, ಲಾಭಗಳಲ್ಲೇ ಅತ್ಯುತ್ತಮವಾದುದು ದೇಹಾರೋಗ್ಯ. Good health. So we should pay attention to that. Not necessarily only students or even teachers. We all should demonstrate. We should demonstrate that we are keeping ourselves physically fit. So such discipline should seep into your mind. Honestly, I tell you, when I was in high school, I was just getting into learning English. But Swami Vivekananda's quotes used to impress me so much. I want men with muscles of iron and nerves of steel, in which dwells the stuff that is made out of thunderbolt. I was asking my teacher, what is the meaning of this? I was thrilled. See, that is the expectation Swami Vivekananda had. So, friends, all that I want to say is, we should live our dreams. Your dream is to become an excellent teacher, excellent researcher. So the dream you have to fulfill, that mission you have undertaken. You have to take a oath that you will execute your duties and responsibilities diligently. Well, now I want to move further. Zeal for life. What is zeal? We all know. It is that enthusiasm. Jivanotsaha. You should always be joyful, happy, smiling, having dreams in your mind that I'm going to accomplish this. So with zeal for life, you will love your work. That is passion. With your love towards work, you will begin to enjoy your work. That is the action that you undertake. With that, you will become happy. That is contentment. And then, when you work with happy frame of mind, you will become successful. It's a flow chart that I just developed, one after the other. And then your life will become beautiful. Once you become successful, your life will become beautiful. So, being enthusiastic in life is a prerequisite not only to make life successful, but also beautiful. Well, friends, I move further. Fishes took birth on this land 50 crore years back, 500 million years back. Whereas man, Homo sapiens sapiens, emerged in the scene very recently, barely 20 lakh years back, 2 million years back. Where is 500 million years? Where is 2 million years? But man is the master of biosphere. He can kill an elephant with a single bullet shot. Where is man? Where is elephant? Let him do WWF with elephant and win. He would not take that risk because he knows that he cannot succeed. So he uses the gift of intelligence to him by man. And with a single bullet shot he kills the elephant. Well, that intelligence has to be now used for constructive purposes in order to have a healthy environment, atmosphere, climate, so that we enjoy to live happily. And then, during eons of time, when man was living in caves as a caveman, he was in no way different from wild animals. He was also a food gatherer, hunter. He was living in the cave, trying to protect himself and his wife inside the cave against the wild elephants. But there was no difference between wild animals and this caveman, but there was one difference, a glaring difference, that is nothing but enthusiasm, which all those wild animals lacked. How wild animals, tigers, lions were hunting millions of years back, they are hunting in the same way. Whereas man today has mastered the art of living. He forgot hunting. He learned growing crops, developed the technologies from rotis to pizzas, whatnot. He has transformed his lifestyle towards more contentful life. So, there is this glaring difference we must realize. So friends, that's the reason why at that age itself, man developed the bow and arrow. Because of the enthusiasm he had. So, I move on further. I will not take much time. A teacher should possess certain prerequisites in himself. What is that? I already told you, healthy mind in a healthy body. I somehow felt, having been inspired from Swami Vivekananda, I took to gym, Vyayama Shale, yoga. My master, Garli Sharanappa, in my native town, Kottur, Bellary district, he taught me yoga and then the Vyayama at that age, when I was in 7th or 8th standard. From then onwards, I developed passion to maintain my good physique. I came to College of Fisheries to study my degree program. There I continued gym, swimming, all the physical activities on the ground, and I became Mr. Fisheries College in 1978 and 79. I held the titles consecutively for 2 years. Kishore sir, just physics competition. So, what I want to say is, it is that passion only will give us the results. Well, friends, and then communication skills. This is of paramount importance. We have to upgrade our teaching skills for which university will provide you forums, training programs where you can fine tune your skills. I just want to demonstrate a small communication skill, how we can communicate. In the College of Fisheries, for having taught for 36 years, I felt I should translate my 1 hour lecture into a poem so that I can communicate the message quickly. So I began to convert my 1 hour lectures into a poem. The best ones that gave me full satisfaction, I have composed around 35 fisheries poems. And I have published the book Meenugarike Kavanagalu, but English version is yet to be published. All that I want to say is thank you. I would like to recite one of my poems so that it may communicate the importance of fish. Fish is a unique creature and a wonderful gift of nature. Fishermen's livelihood depends entirely on their capture. Fishermen's life is always an adventure who invest their energy in hard labor to land fish that is bumper. Fish is a precious commodity of nutrient mixture, proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins and minerals in that order. Fish is said to be the savior of mankind in future if only our fishermen conserve fish and nurture and catch only what is surplus of nature. So, unless we educate people, fishermen, how will they be able to understand? So, these are English poems for elite, section of teachers like you. But in Kannada, most of my poems, ಸಮುದ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೀನುಗಳು ಹಲವಾರು ಬಗೆ, ಪ್ರಮುಖವಾದವು ಮಾತ್ರ 50 ಬಗೆ. ಇವುಗಳಿಂದಲೇ ಭದ್ರತೆ ಮೀನುಗಳ ಬಾಳಿಗೆ, ರಕ್ಷಿಸಲು ಬೇಡವೇ ಇವುಗಳನ್ನು ನಾಳೆಗೆ. ಏರುತ್ತಿದೆ ಬೇಡಿಕೆ ಗಂಗುಡೆ ಭೂತಾಯಿಗೆ, ಮುಗಿ ಬೀಳುವವರೇ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಅಂಜಾಲು ಮಾಂಜಿಗೆ. ಹಿಡಿದೆವಾದರೆ ಮೀನು ಮರಿ ಮಾಡೋ ವೇಳೆಗೆ, ಮರೆಯಬೇಕಾದೀತು ಈ ಮೀನುಗಳ ನಾಳೆಗೆ. So, when I say this, recite this poem, fishermen will get a shock, chill in their spinal cord. They will ask questions, so many questions. Are you sure these fishes will vanish if we overexploit? So, such questions, we can answer them and explain to them. Okay, friends, this is just, and then a teacher should have a good sense of humor. In the classroom, you have to be cheerful. At times, when situation demands certain pleasant turn in the course of lecturing, you can bring in anecdotes that create laughter in the class and then make them, again come out of sleep or develop more interest in the subject. So this is very important, good sense of humor. Sir, I used to quote Gundiraj, great poet that we have. His poems, one and then here and there. I forget what poems I used to quote, but I will quote one poem for your listening pleasure. ನೋಡಿ, ಆ ಕವಿಯ ಒಂದು ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯ ಹೇಗಿದೆ, ಸ್ಕಿಲ್, ದಟ್ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಹಾಗೆ ಆ ಕವಿ ಈ ತನ್ನ ಹೆಂಡತಿಯನ್ನ ವರ್ಣನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಕೊನೆಗೂ ಈ ಕವಿತೆ ಬರೀತಾನೆ. ಪ್ರಿಯೆ, ನಿನ್ನ ಬಣ್ಣಿಸಿ ನನ್ನ ಪದಭಂಡಾರ ಖಾಲಿಯಾಗಿ ಹೋಗಿದೆ. ಪ್ರಿಯೆ, ನಿನ್ನ ಬಣ್ಣಿಸಿ ನನ್ನ ಪದಭಂಡಾರ ಖಾಲಿಯಾಗಿ ಹೋಗಿದೆ. ಹೊಸ ಪ್ರತಿಮೆಗಳನ್ನು ಹೊಸದು ಬಣ್ಣಿಸಲು ನಾನು ಕಾಳಿದಾಸನಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಳೆಂದಳು, ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಖಾಲಿ ದಾಸನಾದರೆ ಸಾಕು ಎಂದಳು. ಹೀಗೇನೆ ಆ ಕವಿ ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದಾನೆ ಅದನ್ನ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕವಿ ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಜಗಳ ಆಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಗಂಡನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಜಗಳ ಆಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಇವರು ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಜಗಳ ಆಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆಗಲೂ ಕವಿ ಒಂದು ಕವಿತೆ ಬರೀತಾನೆ. ಮೊದಲು ವರ್ಣನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಬರೀತಾ ಇದ್ದ, ಈಗ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ನೋವಾಗಿರುವಾಗ ಬರೆಯೋ ಕವಿತೆ. ಇರಬಹುದು ಕಣೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಕಣ್ಣು ಕಮಲ, ಮೂಗು ಸಂಪಿಗೆ, ಹಲ್ಲು ದಾಳಿಂಬೆ, ತುಟಿ ತೊಂಡೆ, ಆದರೆ ಹೃದಯ ಕಲ್ಲು ಬಂಡೆ. ಹಾಗೆ the kind of humor that he brings in, in a lighter way, when you just share, you will create positive vibes in the class. And then creativity. A teacher should be creative enough to bring in suitable anecdotes so that, and then everybody should always long to have the company of good friends. Only good friends will give you peace of mind. Bad ones, keep them at distance. Okay. Positive psychological characteristics. What are those a teacher should possess? Like optimism. You should never think negatively. Keep the negative people away. In the society, more than 90% of the people you encounter, they all have negative thoughts about you. Nobody will tell you, oh, you are so good, is good, your vocabulary is good, your language is good, you are rank student. Nobody will say all those things. So, keep the negativity away. And then you should have life satisfaction. And then happiness. These are the certain psychological characteristics we should always possess. Learning. I said in the beginning, once a teacher, always a student. You have to keep on learning, upskill your communication and then the other nuances of teaching. And then, yeah, this is one important thing I just want to give you. When you intensely engaged in learning new things, you get immersed in work and you lose track of time and space. Hours pass like minutes. You yourself will wonder, oh, have I been thinking over this subject for the last 4 hours? This is called as flow. This is called as flow. I wish every teacher should experience such flows. Then, put the ideas into action. Often we come up with so many ideas, but we don't put into action. In your case, as a researcher, you have a project. The end result, what you want to get, the objectives I would suggest you should have a plan of work chart neatly drawn with arrow marks and all that. Your objectives, materials and methods, your procedural techniques, everything, and then the end result, everything you should put in the form of a chart. I did the same when I was in Sterling University. I was sent as a research attachment to Sterling University. My supervisor, Lindsay Ross, professor, was very happy with my plan of work that I had prepared. And very successfully, in 1 year, I completed my research portion. I happened to see one advertisement that when an international conference is going to be held in the same university, Sterling University. I had just then came back from Mangalore. After 1 year, this conference was to be held. I asked my professor, I want to present my results in the form of a paper in the forthcoming international conference being held in the same your university only. Oh, sure, by all means, you make a presentation without telling much lies. But I told him, sir, I am not going to tell a single lie in my paper. Oh, that's good. That's the confidence you should have, he said. So, this we have to keep in our mind. I successfully went and made the presentation and I came back. While coming back, I forgot my chart in the airport. Okay, effective time utilization. I just want to tell you one thing here. Okay, before going to that, you must put your ideas into action. I want to give you a small anecdote. It happened in my own case. We bought a TV set, color TV set in 1991. My daughter wanted to do away with black and white. We bought color. When I went to showroom, she asked, do you need a remote control? Oh, only Doordarshan one channel. Why do I need? How much does it cost? 1,000 rupees. TV set was 13,000 rupees. Remote 1,000 rupees. My salary, monthly salary. No, I don't want. Came home. Within 3 months, we got 30 channels on cable TV. Every time I have to change the channel, I have to walk 15 steps or 10 steps and press the button and come back and sit in the sofa. I was doing this for a few weeks. Then I felt, I should develop my own remote control. It came to my mind. Let me develop my own remote control. I worked on it, and I became successful. I spent only 5 rupees in 1991. Only 5 rupees my remote was working. What kind of remote I might have developed, you would wonder. The immediate one answer is you must be using long stick. No, no, no. My remote was very simple. All I did was, my TV was kept on the table. I took a piece of wooden piece, like a strip of wooden piece. I kept below the TV, right at the spot where buttons are there. I fixed a small nail, half-inch nail, and took my ball pen, removed the cap, took out the inside leg, only this one. I took my wife's ribbon, what is it called, the black ribbon, no? With a lot of torsion, no? That I just put it in the middle of the ball pen and I fixed to the nail. And I tied a small black thread at the rear end of the ball pen and I sat in the sofa at 10 to 12, 15 feet. I was just pulling, channels were changing. Suddenly to this side, positive, suddenly to this side, negative. And turn little more volume increase, suddenly to this side, volume decrease. All the 4 functions I was performing. I spent only 5 rupees. Well friends, all I want to say is, these are all ideas, whatever comes to your mind, you should try your level best to put it into place. Once a door vending boy came, remote control protection cover. I told him, our remote, it will not fit in. No sir, any kind of remote, it will fit. No, not ours. Sorry sir, I will demonstrate. He said, okay, come inside. He came inside, saw my remote, what he told me, he gave me one certificate. Sir, I have travelled all the 30 districts of state. Nowhere I have come across as efficient a remote control as yours. He gave me Shabashgiri. Well friends, all that I want to say is, see, these are certain things that you should put into practice, try your best. And then effective time utilization, I just want to bring in here. Our Sarvam Vishweshwaraya always used to tell, we should work not for 7 hours in a week, in a day, 17 hours in a day. We can work for 17 hours because nature requires only 5 hours of sleep. But by custom, we sleep for 7 hours. Lazy fellows sleep for 9 hours and vicious 11 hours. We should sleep only for 5 hours and work for 17 hours. You understood the calculation. That was the advice given by our Saryam Vishweshwara. He lived like that. Of course, our present Prime Minister works for 18 hours. Nehru also worked for 18 hours. All our great leaders have really toiled the midnight oil only to get us, independence in the midnight. Okay. Research. I'll only dwell on this with 4 points. Idle mind is devil's workshop. We all know. If you sit idle, your research will not take it further. It will not be taken forward. So you keep thinking over your objectives and then the materials and things that you need to follow and use. Brain is the central office of all human activity. Brain is the central office of all human activity. Like machine needs oil, brain needs work. So creative thoughts alone will make you work. In Subhash Nagar, my overhead tank was getting filled and then water was flowing. My neighbor, madam, was Shiva Prakash, your overhead tank is overflowing. Why don't you switch off the motor? Oh, okay, thank you, auntie, thank you. I used to go and switch off. This was continuing 3 times, 4 times. She used to remind me. Then I got fed up. Let me develop my own technique to know when the overhead tank gets filled up sitting in my room. All I did was a simple technique. I took a half-liter water bottle, mineral water bottle, filled the water, and tied to its neck nylon rope and dumped it into the overhead tank. And that rope I made to pass through V-shaped PVC pipe and took it to the parapet side, and another V-bent PVC pipe. I made the nylon rope to pass through that, and it was hanging outside the window. and I tied a small stone to the edge of the rope. I calibrated such that when the tank is full, the gap between the stone and the parapet wall was formed from the room. So when we use up the water from the overhead tank, the bottle goes down along with the water level, the stone goes up, right? When the tank is empty, naturally water doesn't come in the tap, we switch on the motor. Now see the fun. As the water level is going up, bottle is going up, and the stone is coming down. Slowly coming down. Just now and then I just peep through the window. Oh, it is approaching 4 inch. Switch off. This is a very simple technique. I tell you, this I developed in 2008. In 2013, after 5 years, sir, this is a fact I am telling you, I was watching TV9 news. The news reader was telling, an engineer in Bangalore has developed a simple device to know the water level of the overhead tank. He has used a 5-liter water bottle, and he has used the nylon rope. He has tied and then dumped, and then because he is an engineer, he has marked the full, quarter, half, all that. And according to that, he is able to make out when the tank gets filled, and he automatically regulates and manages. Even if you are on the right track, if you sit there only, you will be run over. Keep it in mind. You should publish your results, data, whatever that you have got, because ideas are nobody's monopoly. The idea that first to me had flashed to that engineer in Bangalore. So all that I want to drive home, the fact is, I remind is devil's workshop. I think I am going to end my talk. So good qualities, simply I will go on reading, get a feel. Curiosity, that exploration should be there always in our mind. You should keep on asking questions. In nature book I read one question, why are there no flying elephants? One scientist questioning himself, why are there no flying elephants? It all starts from such questions. And then analytical ability, and then determination to see through the research, collaboration, communication skill, interest in the field, motivation, inquisitiveness, sacrifice, excelling in your field. When will people call you an expert? When you publish research papers, when you publish books, when you attend international conferences. All those are yardsticks for you to be tagged as an expert. So keep in mind. And then scholarly approach, innovative, and engage in studies, empathy, patience, lifelong learning, entrepreneurial skills, etc., etc. Thank you very much. I think I took more time.
The presentation was highly interesting and informative. Sir, your talk on Zeal for Life was really inspiring. Hope motivated all of us that we should never give up. Thank you, sir, for sharing such a sweet memories of life. Your words evoked a smile on many faces during your speech. Once again, thank you, sir, for sparkling in us the desire for more. Moving on. A good teacher can inspire hope, ignite the imagination, and instill a love of learning. We have with us a true motivator, Professor Manjunath Patabi, Chairperson, Department of Material Science and IQAC Director, Mangalore University. Sir has obtained his MSc in Physics from Mangalore, PhD, IIT Madras. Thin films, nanoparticles of metals and semiconductors, shaped memory alloys, fuel cells, solar cells are his research areas. He guided 1 MPhil and 11 PhD students and 5 are ongoing. He has completed 7 research projects and 1 ongoing. Sir has 118 journal publications. Sir has attended 47 national and international workshops, conference, seminar and symposium. He has more than 58 invited talks too. Sir also organized 3 conferences, symposium and seminars. Sir also awarded with Sir C.V. Raman Young Scientist Award by Karnataka State Council for Science and Technology, Government of Karnataka. M.R.S.I. Medal 2014 by Material Research Society of India, Fellow of Royal Society of Chemistry 2018. With this brief introduction, I now request Sir to motivate all the faculties with his talk on making a good teacher. Over to you, sir.
Esteemed Vice Chancellor, Professor Registrar, my colleagues on the dais, Professor Manjunath, Professor Chandrasekhar, Mr. Shivprakash, and Professor Khan, my colleagues among the audience, the senior faculties, and the young teachers whom I am going to address. So I have made a few points this morning. So I hope I will be able to complete that in a few minutes. So anyway, the topic is making of a good teacher. So my experience as a teacher in this university for the last 35 years, I'm going to complete 35 years very soon, and as a chairman of the department for more than 15 years, completed 16 years as chairman of the department. I've seen the young faculty as well as in the department as well as outside. So based on this experience, I jotted down some points. And as all of you know, we get into any profession, particularly academics, we are here now, by choice or by chance. Whether it's by choice or by chance, whatever it is, love thy profession. Because if it is by choice, definitely we'll do that. If it is by chance, you don't have another option. Because if you don't love your profession, you will not be happy. So, at least until you get another profession of your choice, until that, love your profession in which you are there, that is academics, that is the teaching. So, as long as you love, as long as you start loving your profession, then the other things follow, that is commitment, the sincerity, the punctuality, all these things follow, and these are the points which are there in the teacher assessment which the students are just completing now. So these are the points 3 and 8. Incidentally, after jotting down my points, I saw that I just had a comparison and almost all the points in the teacher evaluation have been covered. So, the teaching profession, as long as you love that, it becomes a passion and not a fashion. And these days, yes, it becomes a fashion too because of the hefty salaries which is being paid. So, for example, when the salaries were very less, so for example, in my time, when I joined, it was 2,200 basic, and with the DA, it used to be 2,800, and when Professor Kadapalita joined as a lecturer, I'm sure it was 700 rupees. And one of my classmates went to the bank as a clerk because the salary was 840 rupees, he told me. So the thing is, at that time, those who were really interested in teaching, those who had a passion for teaching only used to come for teaching profession, and those who are not interested in teaching, they used to go for other professions like banking or telephones or various other professions. So, there are two important traits for a teacher. One is that love for the students, another one is the scholarship. These two things will make a good teacher. So, I say love your students. In this, a small program, TV program which I have seen, that is I think Weekend with Ramesh or something, and Professor Karjigi, he was their guest. And he was asked, what is that you expect from a teacher the most? He said, love your students at least as much as your students, as much as your children. So I was thinking that, because my father was a teacher, I was thinking that we should treat our children, students like our own children. So when I saw this, it is not enough if you treat your children or if you love your students as much as your children, but you need to love them more. So that was an enlightenment for me. So then, you can ask, do you hate your students? Yes. I have come across many teachers who hate their students. Particularly, one thing which I have come across is, particularly the reason is, the students ask questions in the class. If some student is there, he asks more questions which you cannot answer in the class, your ego is hurt, then I heard some teachers saying that I hate that student, which can never be expected from a teacher if he is a teacher. So, naturally, you need to have humility and sincerity to accept that you don't know. And students, they can be bright, when they ask some questions which you cannot answer, please say that I don't know. I have done this many times. And in this context, I will say one incident. So long back, I don't remember which year it was, the statistics department was in this building. I had some friends. When I went to see one of those people, I was told that he is in one of the classrooms. And I was about to come back, then they said, this is coming. Professor Acharya called me, come inside. So there was a professor from Pune. He had come for some PhD or something, then he was interacting with the students. So I sat there. He was telling the students, you ask questions, whatever questions it is, however difficult it is, or however simple it is, however silly it is, you ask questions. Then he narrated one incident. When he was teaching in Pune University, as a young teacher, one student asked a question. So the teacher didn't know the answer. Professor Aditya didn't know the answer. Then he said, sorry, I don't know the answer now. I'll go back and study and come back and tell you the answer tomorrow. So next day he went to the class and told them, sorry, still I don't know the answer. Give me some time. A week's time. Then it went on for a month. Then he went on telling the students that I don't know the answer for the question. Until finally he came up with a theorem as an answer for that question. And he says, now the theorem is known as Archer's theorem, which is being taught in all the universities across the globe. So it's all because one student asked one question. I tell this to my students, you ask questions, it's not that the Archer's theorem will be there, but then at least I can learn more. I can learn more. So this is what it is, unless the students ask, I tell my students, if you don't ask me questions, I become redundant, I go on telling the same thing, I will not read more. So this is what is required. So love your students. Then the scholarship. Scholarship can be acquired through teaching and research. In higher education, teaching and research should go hand in hand. And of course, when you say research, research will not be only what we do in the laboratory with sophisticated instruments. I still remember my science teachers, what experiments they used to do in the class using some small items like 5 paise balloon and some oil dabba which used to be supplied from United States for making it in the schools, government schools. And with that, they have taught so many things, so many concepts of science. So when I got my award for science, first thing what I did was I wrote a letter to my science teacher. Her husband is my English teacher. I wrote to them, thank you for doing this. So, the teaching, we say teaching is the best way to learn. Because many things as students which you have not understood, you have understood them when you start teaching them. So, if you want to learn a new subject, start teaching new subjects. Because, say for example, in one discipline or one subject, the sub-disciplines, whatever may be the sub-disciplines of your subject, so don't stick on to the same course or the paper all throughout your years. So go on changing this, demand the change with your teachers or head of the department or the chairman, so that you learn newer things. Maybe you teach for 3-4 years, then go for a new subject. So this is the way you learn new things, and this is the best way to learn. And of course, the important things required for important, the ability required for teachers is, one is the communication skills of the language, and the other one is the depth of knowledge. And the knowledge base is the first point which is going to be tested or to be evaluated by your students. So, communication skills of the language, which requires constant effort. See, most of us, I don't know your generation, in my generation, most of us have studied in the Kannada medium schools, in the government schools. So, only in the 5th standard we started learning English. And even after finishing our master degree, we are not able to speak confidently. As Professor Shivaprakash said, we are not confident. Only when we started doing our PhD, when we go for conferences, then we started speaking in English, and that gives the confidence to communicate. Whether it's English or Kannada, whatever it is, in whatever language you teach, you require communication skills. At least the students should be able to be understood. Today I made a small experiment. I asked the students some concept which they have studied in BS. I asked them what it is. They are not able to, they also use it for practicals. So they are not able to communicate properly. Whatever definitions they said, I made a picture of that in the board. I said, does it convey what you say? And finally I told, okay, now I'm going to say something. Does it convey this? So this is what is required so that you make the students understand and communicate. In Telugu normally they say, I message. So that means it is not that he cannot understand a particular language or anything. One is not able to comprehend and communicate. So this is required before the students, it is required for the teachers. Because unfortunately many of the teachers make very bad communication. Like if I say, there is, I don't want to say because then it becomes too bad, because here we are seeing many times the teachers make horrible communication or the sentences in which doesn't convey the meaning at all, it conveys exactly the opposite. My friends, quite often you discuss the senior teachers, so please take care of that. So naturally, when it's English, we are not, all of us are not British scholars, sorry for the fun, but the thing is, English is not our mother tongue. Even if you have studied in English medium schools, the English can be quite bad, you need not be good in communication. Please constantly put effort to improve the communications. So normally I say, according to physics, light travels faster than sound. As we have learned in our primary school or high school, that is the reason we hear lightning first and the thunder later. And I saw this on a small matchbox in Kerala long ago. So it says, light, according to physics, light travels faster than sound, and that is the reason many people look bright until they hear them speak. The reason is there may be many people with highest qualifications, maybe PhD from very important institute, and if you are not able to communicate, and if you are not able to speak well, if you are not able to communicate what you know, then that is applicable. So depth of knowledge or the knowledge base, that comes from reading as many books as possible. That is, on a particular topic, quite often I understand the teachers who are fresh teachers, immediately after their masters, they use their notes. And that is not the way. You prepare your own notes by looking into many books, not only the books which are listed in the reference books, of course they have to be referred, and then more books, the latest books, then only you can make your depth and breadth more possible. So in this, if you Google the best teacher, there is one person normally comes, Walter Levins, who was a teacher of physics at MIT Boston. So I am a fan of him. He retired recently a few years back. So I have seen many of his videos. Many of those things we are not able to duplicate here, things we are not able to duplicate here or practice here. But anyway, the thing is, I have a friend in MIT. He is from this area. He is an alumnus of our university, the Madikeri Government College, and he is the student of my guide's first PhD student. He should have got Nobel Prize. Every time he can get a Nobel Prize. He has got the best awards in the United States. So once when we are talking, he asked me, how many hours of preparation you do for a particular topic? Then I said, initially when I started teaching, it's about 8 to 10 hours for 1 hour of teaching. Then he said, I think that's good enough. Then he said, this Walter Levins, he gave his last talk in MIT, it was jam-packed. He said, some student asked him, sir, how many hours of preparation you do? He said, initially I used to prepare for 8 to 10 hours. Now I prepare for 4 hours, of which 1 hour is the rehearsal. Even at the age of retirement, 1 hour of rehearsal, and his classes, if you see the YouTube, then you will understand. So normally he takes from 8 to 9, the first hour class, and we used to go at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 to 6 we will do the rehearsal. And when I was telling this to Professor Chandrasekhar, he had organized one lecture from a professor from Mayo Clinic in USA. So when he took him to the Bangla auditorium, so that professor asked, who is on the fee for this auditorium? Then Chandrasekhar asked, why sir? He said, tomorrow is my talk. I would like to come in the morning sometime when nobody is there, I would like to rehearse. So how many of the teachers at least rehearse within ourselves when we go to the class? So this is what is very, very important. So with that knowledge, you can integrate with other courses and you have a broader perspective of the topic. And with this broader perspective, and when you can relate it to various other topics in your area, then naturally the interest is created among the students. So interest can be created when you are able to connect the topic of your subject to various other fields where it is applicable. Because if it is not applicable, if it is not going to be useful for the next semester, if it is not going to be useful in the coming semesters, nobody is going to learn that. So at least tell them that this is going to be the kind of topics which are going to be asked in the interviews when you go out. So this is what is required, and this naturally makes a good teacher. Then, of course, research is really necessary in higher education, and research infuses new knowledge and keeps us up to date. Without research, you will not be able to keep yourself up to date. And if you say that I am doing only teaching, and that's not really going to be, you can't say that you are doing a good job. But then there were teachers here, very eminent teachers like Professor Shanae, and who got his PhD very late. But then I knew, I was his neighbor for quite a few years, so I knew that he used to read all the journals. He used to read all the journals. The only thing is that he was not registered for PhD, he was not published papers, but then he was up to date with what's happening in the field in the entire world. So that's what is very important. Then, now for survival, publish or perish. When I was a PhD student, one of my friend's father told us, when he came to our hostel, he told us, young people, I have an advice, publish or perish. Of course, my friend is now in Australia with 73,000 citations and I think more than 300 papers or something like that. Anyway, the thing is that I could not achieve that much, but still I keep that in mind that publish or perish is very, very important. But then, there are some fields for me, like Professor Dasanacharya, who was a former director of IUC Indore, and there are a few scientists from ISRO and Atomic Energy. They used to tell us, because we are very young to them, publish a few good papers. Then you also need some buffers to tell that I have so many papers. But don't go after that number. But then ultimately, at the end, when you come to our stage, you realize, when you want to write something, what is your contribution? Whether you have some satisfaction that this is my contribution to the field. I have made this possible. Even if it's an iota of contribution, unless that contribution is there, then it is not going to be useful. The research is going to be redundant. It's going to be waste. So, then now is the question of patents. Patents, now we feel that is very important because all the grading agencies or the ranking agencies ask for patents. So, for your generation, patents also is very, very important. And our stage, our age, we thought that patents are not very important. It's important only if you are going to commercialize that. So, we are not interested in commercializing that because the knowledge is to be distributed among people, so we prefer to publish that. So, if you are going for any job, and you have, some of you may have apprehensions, so Suprakash talked about the field. Some of you may, with all due respect, may feel that we are after all contractual lecturers, contractual teachers, where is our future? But if you don't work, the future never exists. Because if you are going for other jobs, naturally, they will ask, what have you done in the previous years? What have you done in the previous years? I just taught this. Then, if at all they are able to get the students' feedback, it is very bad. Then, that is not going to be useful. Then, about your publications, if they ask you to speak about your publication, if they ask to speak about your contributions, what is that you are going to say? When I go for PhD Viva, I ask them, tell me one thing from your thesis work, what is your contribution to the field for the advancement? Many of the students are not able to say. So this is one very important thing. So if you are going to the teaching jobs, or research jobs, or corporate, or private, or whatever kind of jobs it is, research contributions matter a lot. And then, in the not parlance or teaching evaluation, the availability in the department for people like us, the seniors, quite difficult to be available in the department for the students to meet because most of the time goes in meetings. But then I tell the students, you tell me when you want to meet, definitely send a message, I'll be making myself available. So that's very important. And as a science dean, during the last recruitment cycle, I think I told in almost all departments that you need to publish at least 2 papers, whether you are doing PhD, whether you have completed a PhD, whether you are not registered for PhD, it is immaterial. But you need to publish at least 2 papers. I have told our Honorable Vice Chancellor and Registrar that, sir, make it a criterion for next year's appointment. Because if you cannot do that, our ranking and our accreditation is going to go down. Because we have a large number of contractual faculty, but now it is full time. So you don't have an excuse that we are only paid on hourly basis. So you are paid on full time basis. So naturally, your contributions in research is very much expected. So more papers, when I say at least 2 papers, more the merrier definitely. So it is important for the institution point of view also. So when I say the teacher evaluation, the best teacher, so the students evaluation, who are our best evaluators? The students. So if they say there are many things like the knowledge base, the punctuality, the sincerity and the commitment, and then availability of the teacher, the interest generated by the teachers, and the ability to correlate with other subjects, and so on and so forth. So communication skills, all that are covered. And one thing is that there is a shortcut for everything. There is a shortcut. Please don't go into that. Tell the students that, okay, if you give me the best grades, I'll give you more internal assessment. So that way I would have got, or my department, everybody would have got very low grades because the internal assessment, we are very strict because unless you make them strict there, they will not study for the final examinations. And I tell my students, your grades is not very important. As long as you have first class, that is more than sufficient because the knowledge what you have is more important because when you go out for interviews, that is what matters. In this, I'll just say a small incident what my student told. One student, I think way back in 1991, she went to IISc for PhD admissions and she was sent off within 3-4 minutes. She was asked to go to the board and one question was asked, go and work out. Immediately she wrote the answer. You asked, how did you do that class? My teacher had asked in the class. And that is mathematical physics and statistical physics, the classical mechanics, the tough subjects. And then they asked 3-4 questions. Then they said, okay, whatever we want to ask you, your teacher has already asked and you are able to answer that one, please go. And she thought that she was not going to be selected because other students were 15 minutes, 20 minutes interviews. And then she was selected. She's from Bangalore. She came here and she said, sir, all the questions when you're asking in the class, we used to feel so bad, we used to curse you. And many of our students have cursed us in the farewell, in a lighter way. They said, you ask so many questions because they're so small in number. So we thought that let this department have 50 students, then you're not able to ask so many questions. So that first never realized. We wish that happened. So it's good for the university. With these 2 words, I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts on what I practiced and what I felt over the years as the head of the department, of the chairman of the department, and whatever I have seen outside the university. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for inspiring us with your talk on making of a good teacher. A good education can change anyone. A good teacher can change everything. We have with us soft-hearted, kind personality, a real gem, Professor B.R. Manjunath. Sir is specialized in atmospheric, riverine, estuarine, coastal and marine geochemistry, application of radionuclides in marine geology, big data analytics, climate change, environmental pollution and smart city planning. Sir has guided 8 MPhil PhD students and 7 are ongoing. Sir has completed 3 research projects and 5 national and 2 international ongoing professional collaboration projects are in his hand. Sir has 43 international and 11 national journal publication, 16 book chapters, translation publications, and technical reports. He has 91 international and national paper, poster presentation in conference, seminars, and symposia. Sir has attended 39 seminars, workshops, and courses, and also delivered more than 25 invited talks and organized various conference, seminars, and workshops too. He has received Best Teacher Award during 2016 for outstanding contribution in teaching and research in the Faculty of Science and Technology instituted by the Mangalore University. Sir is also a reviewer of journals and research projects. With this brief introduction, I request Sir to deliver his talk on how good to teach and achieve breakthrough in research. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mrs. Lavina. Most of the senior faculty already spoke about how best to teach. I have made some observations to distinguish between teaching and research. Teaching is most important because without good teachers we cannot learn. Although whatever we could learn only through very few good teachers. So how to become good? Although not the best. So for that we have to follow the principles of the former good teachers and also the researchers. So in this regard I want to quote the most famous scientist of the 20th century, successful scientist is Albert Einstein. He says that I will simplify that if you cannot explain in simple words, that means you are not properly understood. This applies to every teacher, but whatever you teach, make it very simple and effective. Without effective teaching, the students cannot follow. You have to be very friendly with students. How easily you teach, that is important. Because although many teachers are good, they cannot able to communicate. As many of our senior teachers already spoke. So you have to simplify your thoughts, and it applies to even starting from school education. Even in schools, you have seen children carrying 15-20 kgs bags of books, homework, writing, and all these things. So we have to simplify. But how students study at abroad school, they don't carry heavy bag on their shoulders. They will be allowed to play in the school, and then they observe, and then they indirectly teach. So based on the observation, they try to learn. So you have to develop some sort of curiosity to learn. That is most important of a teacher. And as many people told that you have to love students. So how to get appreciation? How easily you teach, that is important. And how to simplify. In English it is called precise writing. In science, even we have to reduce to the minimum extent. Even it is there in the top level science journals. And you have to give the summary which is which is possible to read by any common man. How to convey your research finding to a common person. That is most important. It started in most of the American journals. Suppose if you read any papers published in Nature or Science, in 1 or 2 pages, the entire history of that new finding will be there. So you have to read such kind of papers. Teaching and education. Anybody can get good education, but research, it is difficult. It is just like qualifying any civil service examination through hard work. Because of competition at different levels, research is totally different. It depends on not only knowledge, but also availability of the facilities, and also with whom you work, where you work. In some of the journals, now it has been removed, they will mention in the journal the institute names. If you are in that institute name only, your paper will be reviewed. Otherwise, you don't submit. So that has been removed in some of the British journals. Research is totally different. Then, if you want to become a successful researcher, if you put same effort in civil service examinations, for example, 1 or 2 or 3 years, you can become IAS officers. But you cannot be a successful researcher. I have seen many students who are struggling to get regular postment even after serving for 10 years. Why? Because, see, you have to think. And once you get something, from there you have to try. No, life is the struggle for existence. Whatever the Darwin says that. Even in all stages, we have to struggle to get something. After getting something, from there you have to again try. So research is also like that because and so much of data accumulated. The data accumulated is too vast, and if you ask, even in our university also there are people written hundreds of papers. Suppose if you ask them what you have written in that paper, they cannot remember. And argument with many international level scientists and also one of the former principal advisor to the Prime Minister, Professor Chidambaram, who came to the same hall delivering a lecture about higher education. I asked one question about, suppose, why do we need so many journals? Why do we need so many books? Because if you see books and journals, if you read the latest one, compare with the earlier their books, it's not much change. I've seen volume 1, 2, 3, 4 are editions. Editions only little bit change, just like North Indian food. Changing the masala, you will get something new type of food. It is also happening in science. So, in the bargain, it is difficult for young people how to understand the subject. It is just like finding gold in the ocean. It is there, but its level is too low. So knowledge is also like that. So how to acquire knowledge, that depends on you, and there is a lot of data, as I told you, accumulated. In place like Mangalore University or any other state universities, will not be having much facilities, but that is not the limitation. I want to quote Sir C.V. Raman, that knowledge is more important than research facility to achieve breakthrough in research. Okay, so not the facilities what you have, whatever is available, make use of it. And how to read? Some people were telling that read between the lines, read what you have read, and you have to continuously think, analyze, because you will not get breakthrough in research. Getting breakthrough in research is very difficult, but it is not impossible. So in such situation, it is just like a breakthrough at what level? You may find something new. It is just like winning a prize in school level, or winning a prize in college level. I mean, in sports competition, or national level, international, something different. In science is also like that, or in education it's also like that. Breakthrough in research at what level? So the breakthrough in research is very difficult, but you have to continuously study. So one should be lifelong learners. Although many of the breakthrough research happened accidentally. Someone wants to find out something, they found out something different. But one has to try seriously. So in this situation, my suggestion is that whatever you have today, you try to achieve, because still you are young, you can show your talent and try to make use of the facility and in the knowledge free world. Now when we were studying MSc course or research, we didn't dream of the internet.
Now the information available is so vast and so quick. We used to find months together to get reply. We never used to get reply. If we write to some important people, especially Indians, they never used to reply to the request. But foreigners, they were very prompt. 90% of the foreigners, they used to reply during those days, spend a lot of money in spending, in sending those papers. Why? Because their work has to be, getting the more wider publicity. But Indians, they were never thinking. Once they publish, they will used to give it to the only to the top scientists, not to people who want to read. So you please encourage your youngsters, students to come up. There's a lot of scope. Any average Indian can perform better in overseas labs. Other in is better. Even many people came here also. They told same thing. Your students are much better than people studying in England or in United States. So you use your brain, your talent. Certainly you will come up. You have the strength. You have the ability to put efforts to come up in life. So with these few words, I conclude this topic. Will be available through net or through, you can email us if you have any questions. We try to clarify. But I feel you are blessed with the information available. Don't think about your position or about your future. Keep working. Try to come up. Okay, this is my suggestion. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir, for always being our greatest supporter and for the influential talk on how good to teach and achieve breakthrough in research. Okay, sir. So now, if you have any queries, you can ask with the speakers.
There one more quotation I want to say in this regard. Sir Isaac Newton, he told long back that whatever he could learn and do research is based on the information available. It is just like standing on shoulders of giants. Standing on shoulders of giants means after thoroughly understanding the subject, you can see further. So that sense of study, knowledge, you have to develop. After understanding thoroughly, then you have to think. Many research, they always think. Sometimes whenever I think if some idea flash, I will write down. Okay? And what Professor Shiv Prakash said that a lot of things to be published, not published. Nearly 100 new ideas I have. It's still in my mind, but not shown. And some of the ideas already published by others. So whatever you have in your mind, try to publish. And one of our senior faculty members told, it is just like the research should not be just like a drama stage. And it is just like a drama stage. If you act on drama without audience, it is waste. Okay? You have to show your talent. So how to show your talent left to you. By birth, no one is dull. How you use your brain, actually brain power, whatever Einstein could use, only 15% of the brain, 80% was waste. If you don't use brain, it will be just like the empty computer without any data filled in. So how you make use of the brain is important. Sharpen your brain, recall the memory, and then like that you can improve the performance of brain. And another, okay, one more quotation, last quotation. Joseph Priestley was a chemist who identified many gases. I think he told one thing: don't elaborate your means. Means when you teach, don't tell so much. Try to simplify your means. About 400 years back, till today, we have so much of syllabus, so much of huge books, and even in technical education, all students are facing how to perform in their assignment test. After that, they forget whatever they have learned. They will forget easily because after getting job, whatever the efforts they have put, they forget. So in that sense, the knowledge is waste what they have done. So they have to use their knowledge. So because of very stringent procedure to get something, after that you will forget. So one has to use the knowledge what you have gathered, use it for the betterment of the future education, the future generation. Thank you very much.
I would like to ask what is the difference of education system in Britain and India? Like my late grandfather's like math textbooks used to be so different when he was studying here in India. Like it was, I mean, what the math that we study now, it's so different. And because I think then the Indian education system was modeled after Oxford and Cambridge, and so many people from India they were going there doing their studies coming back. And now also we can see that by next year or so, like many foreign universities they are having their branch campuses in India. So I'd like to ask, I don't know when it will happen, but like how should we prepare our students like to be able to cope with differing education systems when they are exposed to it, and like what is the pattern? Because when African students, when we talk to them, they find the system here different, or Afghanistan students, they have the system when they are writing, they have oral exam, they are working out on board, but here we have a written exam. So there are so many differences in education systems around the world. So like what is the difference between like British system and our current Indian education system?
A very good question. Actually, at the university level, it is almost same, but they have more of some sort of the assignments. Actually, the classes will start from 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock, and then after 2 o'clock they will go to earn. They have to earn and learn because education, especially at university level, is very expensive. They have to pay just like rupees like in British pounds. So it is very expensive, and even parents will not support their children up to 10th standard. Also, they will support, not beyond. So it is the duty or responsibility of the students to learn afterwards. So because of that, they put extra efforts, and they work in library till late evening, and then get up early in the morning and then go to class. But if the education system, the foreign universities come to India, then I think they will slightly adopt whatever situation followed. I don't know exactly. They follow the situation followed in India, I think. But I'm not sure what their curriculum. So it's almost the same. It's viewing in different angles. It is the learning procedure. But the people who teach may be different. The recruitment may be different type, and they may expect high expectations from the teachers. I think these are all my observations. Yes. Yeah, to answer your question, as far as research is concerned, there is a lot of flexibility in UK. They provide all kinds of facilities. They give the car key to the scientist. You go to your field, collect samples, do whatever, and the chemicals, whatever required, immediately they provide. They say never say no. They will manage to get the required items for your research. In Sterling University, one day I saw police entering the campus with one person. I just asked, how come police are there inside our campus? I came to know, he said, there is one convict in Edinburgh Central Jail. He is expert in tilapia fish breeding. So he is brought to the university campus to teach scientists once a month under the police escort. This is the kind of exposure they give to research. Thank you. Madam, whatever you asked about the levels. So one thing is, quite often what we have found is the level of the books which we follow. So most of the books what we follow in most of our universities, these are undergraduate textbooks abroad. And we don't even see the books. So that I was telling yesterday some students that, have you heard of this book? Have you seen this book? It's there in the library. And that is the postgraduate level books. And you read this, then the way in which they are taking you through the subject is much different. It's so beautiful. And that is what we need to tell our students, the beautiful way the subject is introduced. So that is the level of the book. That is one thing. Second thing is maybe that we don't have that flexibility because of the system is rigid. NEP talks about so much of flexible system. Maybe we hope it will be through later on. Once I was reading in the newspaper when Professor Bose of MIT, electrical engineering professor, he died. There was an article. He is famous for that speakers, Bose speakers. So it is there in India also now. So when he died, there was an article to tell about his kindness to the students. So normally his exams, whether it's tests or internal tests or the final exams, start at 7 p.m. And the students, still some students are writing the exam at 3 a.m. Then he used to tell his research students to go and serve them ice creams. So what I learned is, after 8 hours, still they are not able, at least some of them are still writing the exam because open book exams. That devising that kind of examinations is not in our system, but still, it's not for an internal assessment. Still we can tell the students. I keep asking the students, can I give you some open book questions? Could you be able to write? And of course the answer is no. But then, these things, to the best possible extent within our limitations, within our freedom, we can experiment that. So the thing is, it's all within us what we can do. So slowly we will go for open book exams because in the NEP at least what is envisaged is that different ways of evaluation. So at least we should be mentally prepared for that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Moving on. By choosing to take responsibility for your life, you will immediately gain an increased power to achieve your greatest potential. We have with us Professor Kishore Kumar Sekhi, Registrar and Director of Physical Education, Since 2014, Sir has progressed Department of Physical Education, Mangalore University, with several changes and implementation of several occasions towards the growth of athletics under Mangalore University. Since 1997 up to 2019, if we see Sir's personal achievement in the field of sports after joining Department of Physical Education is really unbelievable. I may take whole day to read Sir's profile. Sorry, sir, so I'm condensing it. He is a best example for dynamic leadership who will be always boosting the budding faculties of the campus. Sir has undertaken many UGC innovative programs, worked as chairperson and co-chairperson at national and international conference. He is a member of any academic bodies and Society of Mangalore University, life member of National Association of Physical Education and Sports Science, worked secretary of Mangalore University and College Physical Education Teachers Association, member of Mangalore University Teachers Association. These are the few which I have mentioned here. He is also awarded with the Best Teacher Award from Mangalore University. He has 30 plus years of teaching experience along with the administrative work. Sir has guided 6 PhD students and 6 are ongoing. Sir has more than 32 publications, books, research papers. Sir has attended more than 55 international and national conference, workshop and also has an invited speaker. Sir has also organized 30 plus conferences, seminars, workshops, symposium. He also worked as our in-charge Vice Chancellor of Mangalore University. With this brief introduction, now I request Professor Kishore Kumar CK Sir to speak on duties and responsibility of guest lecturers. Over to you, sir.
So very good afternoon to everyone. Honorable Vice Chancellor of Mangalore University, Professor P. Subramanian, sir. Professor K. R. Chandrasekhar, Secretary, Association of British Colleges, Mangalore Chapter. Professor Show Prakash, conveners of this program, Professor B. R. Manjunath, Professor A. M. Khan, and my dear fellow friends. So I start my speech with the quote, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, one of the finest scientists and most importantly, great teacher of the country, says, the purpose of education is to make good human beings with the skills and expertise. Enlightened human beings can be created by teachers. So I have listed out many points. So our senior professors, they spoke about the different aspects and covered almost all the aspects with the live examples with gun and fish. So first thing I would like to tell about that we the teachers, we have to inspire to bring about the best in students. So they are teachers. So your designation is guest lecture. So it's not with mere objective of fulfilling the workload allotted to you. So your all-round involvement with the overall progression of the students as well as the department is much needed for accomplishment of department's mission and vision. So this you have to keep it in our mind. And another point, self-reflection. This self-reflection in the classroom is a way for educators to look back on their teaching strategies to discover how and why they are teaching in a certain way and how their students responded. So this is also very important. And another point, we have to encourage students to ask questions and discussions. We have to invite questions and we have to discuss, we have to encourage the students for discussion in the class. Sometimes, so I will also speak on the basis of some of the information I gathered and some of the complaints I received from the department also. So sometime in the classroom, ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸಮ್ಟೈಮ್ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಾಗಬಾರ್ದು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಎನ್ಕರೇಜ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್. I also worked as guest faculty for 5-6 years. So on the basis of that, I'm just ಅದನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. So don't think otherwise. ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಎನ್ಕರೇಜ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ಗೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಬಾರಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಂತ ಸ್ಟೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ಸೊ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲವು ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗೆ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ರೋಲ್ ಇನ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಎವ್ರಿ ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಲೆಕ್ಚರ್ also has an important role in terms of development of department the U work. So you have to encourage for innovative subject-based programs, workshops, student engagement programs, job enrichment programs shall be. You have to plan for that, and you have to organize conferences, workshops in the department, and you have to coordinating the work of NAC. So there are so many NAC-based work. So we have to, guest faculties, we have to coordinate with the NAC work. So we have to join our hands for the university sake. And another point I would like to highlight here, personality. I said personality matters. It matters a lot. So ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸಹ ನಾವು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನಾವು ಪರ್ಸನಾಲಿಟಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸಹ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಗಮನ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ಅದರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, ಸೊ ಎಥಿಕಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ಸ್, ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸಹ ನಾವು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನಾವು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಹೇಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, ಅದೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಎಥಿಕಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಅದನ್ನು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸಹ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವಿಷಯ ಏನಂತೇಳಿ, ಅನದರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಕೋಡ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಮಾರ್ಚ್ ಎಂಡೊಳಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಡೆಲಿಗೇಷನ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ರು. ಮಾರ್ಚ್ 31 ಅಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಮ್? 31 ಮಾರ್ಚ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಯಾವುದು? ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಈಗ ಮಾತಾಡೋದನ್ನ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋದಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಬೋರ್ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು, ನೀವು ವಾಚಿ ನೋಡಬಾರ್ದು. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಅಂಥದ್ದು ವಿಷಯ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಕನ್ಸೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು ನಾನು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 1 ತಿಂಗಳಿಂದ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಈ ತಿಂಗಳ ಸಂಬಳ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ತಿಂಗಳ ಸಂಬಳ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಏಪ್ರಿಲ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಸೆಟ್ಲ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಂಥದ್ದು ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ಸರ್ನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾನು ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಭಾಷಣ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್, ಭಾಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಆಹಾರ ಸಿಗುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಹಾಗೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಈಗ ನೀವು ಅವರ್ಲಿ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬಾಂಬೆಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋದ್ರೆ, ಈಗ ಮಹಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ನ್ಯಾಕಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೇನೆ, ಕ್ಲರ್ಕ್ ಅವರ್ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹಣ ಅಂತ, ನಮ್ದು ಹಾಗೆ ಇತ್ತು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಗೌರವವನ್ನು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ನೀವು ಮಂಗಳೂರು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಗಣಕ ಗೌರವವನ್ನು ಎತ್ತಿ ಹಿಡಿತಿರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಆಶಯದೊಂದಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಬೇರೆ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಸಿಂಡಿಕೇಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡು, ಗಡಪಡಿತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಕಿಶೋರ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಸಿಂಡಿಕೇಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ಗೌರವವನ್ನು ಉಳಿಸಿಕೊಂಡಿವಾಗ ರಜಾ ಸಂಬಳ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮಗೆ ರಜೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಟೀಚರ್. ಅದ ಕಾನೂನು ಚೌಕಟ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೊಂದು 11 ತಿಂಗಳಿಗೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ. ಅದು ಆಡಳಿತಾತ್ಮಕ, ನನಗೆ ಅದು ಬರುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಕೆಲವು ಹೆಚ್ಚುವರಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರನ್ನು ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವರ ಭಾಷಣದಲ್ಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ನೋಡಿ, ಅವರ ಕನ್ಸರ್ನ್ಸ್ ಏನು, ಅವರ ಅಪ್ರಹೆನ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಏನು, ಮತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಂಥದ್ದು ಜಂಟಿ ಬಟ್ ಇಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ನೀಡ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಮೂಲಕ ನಿಮಗೆ ಮನಮುಟ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗಿರುವಾಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದ ಕಾರಣ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ನಾನು ಪುನಃ ಈಕ್ವಲಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಓನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಏನು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಆನರ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾಮಾಣಿಕ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಆಡಳಿತದಲ್ಲಿ. ಆದ ಕಾರಣ ನಮಗೆ ಮೋರಲ್ ರೈಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಾರಣ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಅವರ್ ಆನರಬಲ್ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್, ಅದನ್ನು ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದದಲ್ಲಿ. ಬ್ಲೆಂಡೆಡ್ ಮೋಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಏನೋ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಲ್ಲದ ಯಂತ್ರದವರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನೇಕರು, ಬಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ನೇಟಿವ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತು ಆನರ್ ಇಟ್ ಅಟ್ ಅವರ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್. ಇವತ್ತು ಬ್ಲೆಂಡೆಡ್ ಮೋಡ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಮ್ಯಾಥ್ ನನಗೆ ಇವತ್ತೂ ಕೂಡ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಹೀಯಾಳಿಸಿ, ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಹೀಯಾಳಿಸುವ ಮೂಲಕ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ ಹೀಯಾಳಿಸಿ ಬಿ ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹಾಕ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಾರಣ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿ ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಬರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣ ಏನಂತಾರೆ, ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಡೈನಾಮಿಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇವತ್ತೂ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗೋ ಮೊದಲು ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಧರಣಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಆಗದೆ ಇರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಕಾಣದ ಕೈಗಳು ಯಾರು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಂಥದ್ದು. ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಎಂತ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು? ಡೈನಾಮಿಕ್ ವೈಬ್ರೆಂಟ್ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. 27ನೇ ಸಿಂಡಿಕೇಟ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಅನೌನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ಅದು ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಆ ಹಂತಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ತುಂಬಾ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸುಲಭ. ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ರಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಅದು 5 ಸಲ ಕರೆದು ಕೂಡ ಒಬ್ಬನೇ ಬರುವಂತದ್ದು. ಈ ಕೂಡ ಒಬ್ಬನೇ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಫೈ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಟೆಂಡರಿಗೆ. ಆದ ಕಾರಣ ಅದನ್ನು ಒಗ್ಬೋದು ಇಲ್ಲವೋ ಏನೋ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇರೋ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳು ಅವರು ಇವರು ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಲ್ಲಾಡಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕ ಪಟ್ಟಭದ್ರ ಹಿತಾಸಕ್ತಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗುಡ್, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇನಫ್, ಐ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಅಪಿಯರ್ ಟು ದಿ ಗುಡ್. ನಾನು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪರೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು, ಅಕೌಂಟಬಲ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. ಆದ ಕಾರಣ ಒಂದು ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಇಂದ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಯಿತು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಡೇಟಾ ವೆರಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲಿಡೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. 70% ಅಸೆಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಮ್ಯಾಥ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದು ಯಾರು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ರಾಜ್ಯದವರು ಬಂದು ಟೀಮ್ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ತದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಡೇಟಾ ಅಪ್ಲೋಡ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಡೇಟಾ ಡ್ರಿವನ್ ಅಸೆಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್ ಹೀಗಿರುವಂತದ್ದು. ನಾವು ಮೊದಲು ಏಕಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಸಿಟ್ ಮಾಡುವ 100% ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಬಂದು
ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಹೇಳುದಿಲ್ಲ ಎ ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಬಂದಿತ್ತು, ಅವ್ರು ಅದರದೇ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿದ್ರು. ನಾವು A++ ನಮ್ದು 30% ಅಸೆಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿದೆವು. ಬಟ್ ಅವ್ರು ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ದು ಬಿ. ನನಗೆ ಆಶ್ಚರ್ಯ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ಯಾಕೆ ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಅಂಗೈಲಿದ್ದ ಹುಣ್ಣು ನೋಡಿ ಕನ್ನಡಿ ಬೇಡ. ನನ್ನ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಸ್ಟೋರಿಯೇ ಉಂಟು. ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಡೇಟಾ ಡ್ರಿವನ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಸೋತದ್ದು. ಇದ್ಯಾವ್ದು ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ ಉಂಟಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕೇಳುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಟೈಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, 0. 5 ಅಥವಾ 7 ದಿವಸ ವರ್ಕ್ಶಾಪ್ ಮಾಡುವಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು 2 ದಿವಸ ಅಥವಾ 3 ವರ್ಕ್ಶಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ 0. ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಪರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜರ್ ಇದೆ, SOP. ನಮ್ಮ IPSC ಟೀಮ್ ಈಗ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮುಂದೆ ಮ್ಯಾಚಿಗೆ ಹೋಗುವವರಿಗೆ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ನಾವು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ತಾಯಿಗೆ ಅವಮಾನ ಆಗುವಾಗ ನಾವು ಸಹಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಅದು. ಇವತ್ತು ಎಡಪಡಿತ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ, ಕಿಶೋರ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ಏನಾಗಿದ್ರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತವರು ಅನೇಕರಿಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ. ಸೊ ಆ ಮದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಫೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇಂದ ನಾವು ವಿ ಗೋ ದಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಮೈಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು 17 ಗಂಟೆ 18 ಗಂಟೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ತಾಕತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. 12 ಗಂಟೆ ನಾನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ, ರಜಾ ದಿವಸ 10 ಗಂಟೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಹೇಳಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಿ, ಅದು ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್. ಹಾಗೆ ಒಂದು ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಇಂದ ಆದದ್ದು. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಆದದ್ದು ನಮ್ದು 2/3 ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟಿ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ಬರು ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಔಟ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಆತ್ಮಶೋಧನೆ ಆತ್ಮಾವಲೋಕನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೇವೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಮುಂದೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಒಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪಬ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ 1 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಇವತ್ತು ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಕೊಡುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಕೋರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ತಲೆ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಾಲು ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಕೇರ್. ಹಾಗೆ ಏಕದಮ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನೋವಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಮಾನವೀಯ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾವು ಅಡ್ವರ್ಟೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿ, RTAಲಿ ಕೇಳಿ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಾವೇ ಎನ್ಕರೇಜ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಕೇಸ್ ಈಗ ಅದು ಅಲ್ಲಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, RTAಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ದಟ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿಯ ಇದನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪರೆಂಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟೇಬಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡುವಂತದ್ದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಬಿ ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಬಿ ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರು ಎದೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಚ್ ಒನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಚ್ ಒನ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಪಬ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಯಾವುದು ರೆಪ್ಯೂಟೆಡ್ ಆರ್ ರೆಫರೀಡ್ UGC ಐಕೇರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ಕೋಪಸ್ ಇಂಡೆಕ್ಸ್ ಜರ್ನಲ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾಮಾಣಿಕ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಏನ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ನಮ್ಮ IPS ಇದೆ, RDCPC ಇದೆ, ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿ ಪೇಟೆಂಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ ನಮ್ದಿದೆ. ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಗಣೇಶ್ ಸಂಜೀವ್ ಅವರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಅಥವಾ ಹೇಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಐ ಆಮ್ ದೇರ್, ಯು ಕಮ್ ಟು ಮೀ, ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಮೇಕ್ ದಿ ಲೈನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆದ ಕಾರಣ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ದಯಮಾಡಿ ನನ್ನ ಕಳಕಳಿಯ ವಿನಂತಿ, ನಂದು ಮುಗಿತದನ್ನು ಹೋಗ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್ ಪಟ್ಟಾಭಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ PhD ಎನ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಆಟ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಆಟಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಉಳಿಯುವುದು ಬೇಡ. UGC 2023 ಇಂದ PhD ಇಸ್ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಟ್ರಾಲಿಂಗ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾಚಿಂಗ್ ಫಿಶ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಟ್ರಾಲಿಂಗ್ ತರ ನೆಟ್ ವೈಡನ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಮ್ಯಾಡ್ಲಿ ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ನೋವೇಟಿವ್ಲಿ ರೆಕಗ್ನೈಸಿಂಗ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಗೈಡ್ಸ್. ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಗೈಡ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಿದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಅವಕಾಶ ವಂಚಿತರಾಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಅಕಾಮಡೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಒಂದ್ ವೇಳೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಗೈಡೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಹೊರಗಿನವ್ರು ರೆಕಗ್ನೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ನಾವು. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ MCJ ಹೇಳಿದ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟುಡಿಯೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ನಾನು ಕನಸು ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, ನನಗೆ ಯಾರು ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಆಡಳಿತದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು, ಅದು ಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ 30 ಲಕ್ಷ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಈಗ ಯಾರ್ಯಾರಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ತನ್ನಿಯಪ್ಪ, ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಚೇರ್ಮನ್ ಹತ್ರ ಓಕೆ ಮಾಡಿಸಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ಟೀಮ್ ಓಕೆ ಮಾಡಲಿ. MCJ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಫೀಲ್ ಪ್ರೌಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್. ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಕಮ್ ಟು ಮೀ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಚೇರ್ಮನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಕೈ ಜೋಡಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಸೊ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿಗೆ PhD ಎನ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ PhD ಮಾಡಿ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಅಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ. 10 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಆಗದವರೆಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಒನ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಮೇಜರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾನು ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ PL ಧರ್ಮ, ಇವತ್ತು ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ರಾಜೀವ್ ಚಲನ್ ಅವರು ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ PL ಧರ್ಮ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದ್ ಫಾರ್ ಆಲ್, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಶೈಕ್ಷಣಿಕ ಅವರಿಗೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗಬಾರದು, ಏನೇ ಇರಲಿ ಕಷ್ಟ ಸುಖ ಏನೇ ಇರಲಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ವಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಮುಗಿಸ್ಬಿಡುವ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅವರು ದೇ ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೋ ಎಂಟಿ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡೆಡ್ ಹೇಳುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಶೈಕ್ಷಣಿಕ ಹಿತದೃಷ್ಟಿಯನ್ನು ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ, ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಇಲ್ಲ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೋಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೆನ್ ಸಾಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ, ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಅದರ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ PhD ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೈಡ್ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ತೊಂದರೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಬನ್ನಿ, ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಯು. ಬಟ್ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಂಬಳ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಸಂಬಳ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಚಲ್ತ ಹೇ ಚಲನೆ ದೋ ರೋಡ ಹೇ ಮೈದಾ ಹೇ ಖುದಾ ಹೇ ತೋ ಬಲ ಕರೆಗ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇನ್ಶಾಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಇವರು ಒಳ್ಳೇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹಂತದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡುದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ನಮಗೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸಿಗ್ನಲಿಂಗ್ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ, ಇದು ಭೂಮಿಗೆ ಭಾರ, ಉಳಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಬೇಡ, ಕಳಿಸ್ಬಿಡು. ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಮಾತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಥ್ರೋ ದೆಮ್ ಅನ್ಸೆರೆಮೋನಿಯಸ್ಲಿ, ಗೌರವಯುತವಾಗಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಿರ್ಗಮಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅನುವು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಬೈ ಡಿಸೈನ್, ದೇ ಆರ್ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಬೈ ಡಿಫಾಲ್ಟ್. ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಜಾಬ್ ಒಂದು ಲೆಟರ್ ನನಗೆ, ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಕಡೆ LIC ಎಂತದೊಂದು ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಅದೊಂದು ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಲೆಟರ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಟೆಂಪರರಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಯಾರು ನಮ್ಮ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಆಗಿನ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಯಾವ್ದಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ವಿ ಬಿಕೇಮ್ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಬೈ ಡಿಸೈನ್. ಇವತ್ತು ಹಾಗೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇವತ್ತು ಈಸಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಂಗಳೂರು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಪುಣ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಬಳ ಎಲ್ಲ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಆಗೋ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಉಂಟು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ನನ್ನ ಅವಧಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಕನಸು ಕಾಣಬೇಡಿ ನೀವು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನೀತಿ ಸಂಹಿತೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಮಾರ್ಚ್ 27ಕ್ಕೆ ಸುದ್ದಿ ಇದೆ. ಆದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಹತ್ರ ದುಂಬಾಲು ಬಿದ್ದಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಲಾಗ್ SC ST OBC ಹೈದರಾಬಾದ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾಡಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ವಿಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಬ್ಸಲ್ಯೂಟ್ಲಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಯಾರಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಕೊಡಿ ಅಂತ ಅಶ್ವತ್ಥಾನ ದುಂಬಾಲು ಬಿದ್ದಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಈಗ 18 ತಾರೀಕು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. 19, 20, 21 ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ ನಾನು. ಮಾರ್ಚ್ 15ಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾನ್ವೊಕೇಶನ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಗವರ್ನರ್ ಡೇಟ್ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಫೈನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಂಥ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡುವ ಆದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ಧೈರ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ನೀವು ಅದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಬೇಕಾದ ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರಿ. ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಆದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತದ್ದು ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ. ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಕೂಡ. ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಎಷ್ಟು 50 ಉಂಟು, ಬರುತ್ತೆ 300 ಉಂಟು. ನಂಬರ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್, ಸೈಟೇಷನ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯ ವೈಬ್ರೇಷನ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಹೇಳುವಂತದ್ದು ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಟೀಚರ್ ಹೇಳಿದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಂತದ್ದು ನೀವು ಎದೆಪಟ್ಟಿ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಕೈ ಜೋಡಿಸಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ನಿನ್ನೆ ಒಬ್ಬರನ್ನ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು, ಕೆಲವು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುವಾಗ ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟಿನ ಹೊರಡೆ ಇಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇದು ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ತನ್ನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ರೌಂಡ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಮಾಡುವ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಪ್ರಾಬಬ್ಲಿ 27ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು ಸಿಂಡಿಕೇಟ್ ದಿವಸ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ನೂನ್ ಕೆಲವು ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳು. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಯುವಲ್ ಅಂತಿದೆ, ಯಾರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ 2 ವರ್ಷ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಫುಲ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಟೀಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ದೇ ಆರ್ ಎಲಿಜಿಬಲ್ ಟು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ. ಪೇಪರ್ ಸೆಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಮತ್ತು ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಕರಿಬೇಕು. ಇದು ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, BOE ಚೇರ್ಮನ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ವಹಿಸಿಕೊಡುವಂತದ್ದು. ಗ್ರೇಡೇಷನ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕರೆಯಲ್ಲ. 200 ಜನ ಇದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು 25 ಜನ ಕರೆಯುವಂತದ್ದು, ಅದು 15 ದಿವಸ ಆಗುವಂತದ್ದು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ, DAC ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಏನಿರಬಹುದು. ನಂದು ಹಾಗೆಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1 ದಿವಸದಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಮುಗಿಸಿದೆ ನಾನು. 80 ಜನ ಬಂದು ಬಹಳ ರೆಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇತ್ತು. ನಮ್ಗೆ 10 ಜನ ಸಾಕು, ಅವರು ಸರಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಸರಿ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ ಯಾರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಸ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾರ್ ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಗ್ರಾಜುಯೇಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಯಾವುದು ಕಾಮರ್ಸ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಟೈಮ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತದೆ, ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಟೈಮ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತದೆ, ಕನ್ನಡ ತುಂಬಾ ಟೈಮ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತದೆ, ಪೇಪರ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ರೇಡೆಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಎಲಿಜಿಬಲ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕರಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ನೀವು ಕೂಡ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ತಪ್ಪಿಸಬೇಡಿ, ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅದು ಪುಣ್ಯದ ಕೆಲಸ. ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಣ್ಣ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದ ರೆಮ್ಯುನರೇಷನ್ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ. UGC ಪೇ ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡೋ ಟೀಚರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಈ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾರ್ ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಂಡರ್ ಗ್ರಾಜುಯೇಟ್ ಕೆಲವರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ನನಗೆ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಿಮ್ದು ಕೊನೆ ಮುಗಿಯೋ ತನಕ ನಾವು ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಸರ್ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಾತಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಅನೌನ್ಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಚೀಫ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾವು ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಮ ಅಂತರಾಳದ ನೋವು ಮತ್ತೆ ನಲಿವುಗಳು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಹಂಚಿಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ನಾನೀಗ 5 ಗಂಟೆ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಬೇಕು, 5 ಗಂಟೆ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ನಾನೇನು ಮಾಡಿ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಆದ ನಂತರ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಹೋಗಿ. ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನೀವು ಕೈ ಜೋಡಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಒಂದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಅಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಕಾನ್ವೊಕೇಶನ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಡೇ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ ಇರಬಹುದು. ಇದು ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಕೆಲಸ, ದೇವರ ಕೆಲಸ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಇದು ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ UGC ಪೇ ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ ಮಾಡೋರು ಮಾತ್ರ ಮಾಡಿ, ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ರಿಟೈರ್ ಆದಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಖಾಲಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ, ತೆರವಾಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ ನಮ್ದು ಬೇಸ್ ಲೈನ್. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ನೀವೇ ಟಾರ್ಚ್ ಬ್ಯಾರರ್ಸ್ ಆಗುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಆದ ಕಾರಣ ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಒಂದು ಬದ್ಧತೆಯಿಂದ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾರ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು ಬಹಳ ನೋವಿನ ಅಂಶದ್ದು, ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಡೇ, ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಡೇ, ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಡೇಗೆ ನಾನು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಡುಕ್ತಾ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ವಿ. ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು, ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದದ್ದು ಏನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟಿ, ಯಾರು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಏನು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾವ್ದಾದಕ್ಕೆ 3 ಜನ ಮಾತ್ರ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರು. ನಾನು ಯಾವ್ದು ಸಭೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಹಳ ಪೇನ್ಫುಲ್. ಮನೆಯಿಂದ ನನ್ನ ಮಿಸಸ್ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನನಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದಾಳೆ, ಇದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಒಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಹೇಳಬೇಕು, ನೀವು ಅನೌನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಲ್ಲ, ತೀರ ತೀರ ಶೂರನಾಗಿ ಇದನ್ನು ಹೇಳಬೇಕು, ಕಡ್ಡಾಯವಾಗಿ ಹಾಜರಿರತಕ್ಕದ್ದು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಕುಲಸಚಿವರು ಕಳಿಸುವಂತದ್ದು ನನಗೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅವಮಾನ. ನೀವು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ಎದೆ ಮುಟ್ಟಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು ಹೇಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟರಿ ಶಾಲೆ, ನೀವು ಕಲಿತ ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಧ್ವಜಕ್ಕೆ ಸಿಲ್ಟ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. ನಾವು ನೇಷನ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್, ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್, NEP 2020 ಪಂಚ್ ಲೈನ್. ಸೊ ಅದು ಬಹಳ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಅದು ಅಂಬೇಡ್ಕರ್ ಜಯಂತಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಮಹಾಪರಿನಿರ್ವಾಣ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೂಡ ಇದು ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಇದು. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೆಲವರು ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೆ ಸೇರಿದ್ದು. ಸಂವಿಧಾನ ಶಿಲ್ಪಿಯಾಗೆ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಬಹಳ ನೋವಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ. ಸೊ ಅಂತ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟಿ, ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವರು ಟೀಚರ್ ಅಲ್ವೇ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನನ್ನ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಟೀಚರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 3 ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಗುಡ್, ಬ್ಯಾಡ್, ಅಗ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಎ ಟೀಚರ್ ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ಗುಡ್, ಅದನ್ನ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಮತ್ತೆ 10 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಯಾರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅನುಭವ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಇನ್ನೂ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಉಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಅಂತಾದ್ರೆ, ತುಂಬಾ ಸಾಧನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಪಬ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಕ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಲೈಫ್ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಅಂತವರನ್ನು ಡಾಕ್ಟರೇಟ್ಗೆ, ಗೈಡೆನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಗುರುತಿಸುವಂತಹ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಸಿಂಡಿಕೇಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತವ್ರು ಯಾರಿದ್ರೆ ಬಯೋಡೇಟಾ ದಯಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಡಿ. ಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ಶ್ಯಾಮ್ ಸುಂದರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ವಾಣಿಜ್ಯ ರಘು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, ಅವರು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದವರು, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಗೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಇತ್ತು. ನಾವು ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಕರುಣಾಕರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟೆಗ ಸಿಂಡಿಕೇಟ್ ಗಟ್ಟಿಯಾಗಿ ನಿಂತು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾವು ಈಗ ಅವರು ನೆರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ PhD ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಈ ವಿಲ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಗೈಡ್. ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ನಾವು, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಸ್ಕಾಲರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಗಡಿಬಿಡಿ ಆಗಬಾರದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಇದು ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ. ಆದ ಕಾರಣ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಚಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೇಷನ್, ನಮ್ದು ನಿಮ್ದು ಎಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಆಸ್ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ ಪುಣ್ಯದ ಕೆಲಸ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಬ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ಫುಲ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಲೈಫ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅದರ್ಸ್, ಇನ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಲೀಗ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನೀವು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಕರಿಸ್ಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಲೀಡರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಸಾಲದು. ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಎ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಲೀಡರ್, ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ದ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಲರ್ನರ್ಸ್ ವಿದಿನ್ ದ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್, ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ದ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್. ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನಾವು ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ MI ಸವಲತ್ತು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಈಸ್ ನೋ ಮೋರ್. ಬಟ್ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ ಒಂದು ಇವತ್ತು ನೆನಪಿದೆ. ಎಡಪಡಿತಾರೆ, ಒಂದು ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ 2 ರೀತಿಯ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟಾಫ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ 2 ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರಿ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟಾಫ್, ಒಂದು ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾನ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್. ಹಾಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನೀವು 3 ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರಿ, ಒಂದು ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟಾಫ್, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ನಾನ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟಾಫ್, ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ನಾನ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟಾಫ್. ಆದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟಿ ಯಾರು ಕೂಡ ನಾನ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅವರು ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ನನಗೆ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ ಪಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡೆಲಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಅದನ್ನು ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಕಾಂಟ್ರವರ್ಸಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಡಿ. ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಟ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿತ್ತು, ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಕೆಟ್ಟ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರೋ ಪ್ಯಾಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, 70% ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇನಫ್. ನೆವರ್ ಫೇಲ್ ಟು ಆಕ್ಟ್. ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ ಯು ಟು ಕಾಂಪೀಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ನಿನ್ನೆಗಿಂತ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ನನ್ನ ಪಾಠ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಇವತ್ತು ಸಂಜೆ ನಾನು ಶಪಥ ಮಾಡೋದೇನು, ನಾಳೆಯ ಪಾಠ ಇವತ್ತಿಗಿಂತ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಇಂಥದ್ದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ 2 years ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿದಿರಿ, ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಂದೆ ಬಂದ್ರಿ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ 5 years ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಯು ಗೆಟ್ ಓವರ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್. ನಾನು ಅನೇಕ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಚ್ಚಿದವರನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಯಾರು ಹೇಳಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಆನ್ ಅವರ್ ಓನ್ ಬೈ ದ ಗ್ರೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಗಾಡ್, ಏನೋ ವಿ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟೆಡ್ ಫೈರ್ ಇನ್ ಅವರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸೆಲ್. ಆಗ ನಮ್ಮಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೇ. ಇವತ್ತು ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಚಂದ್ರಶೇಖರ್ ಇವರು, ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್ ಪಟ್ಟಾಭಿ, ನಾವೇ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳೆದವರೇ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ಹೇಳುವವರು ಯಾರಿಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಕೂಡ ಮಿಸ್ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು ನಾವು ಹೇಳುವಂತದ್ದು, ಗಿಲ್ಟಿ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು ನಾವು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಟ್ಟು ನನ್ನ ಈ ಅನುಭವದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಏನಂತಾರೆ, ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್, ಕಾಂಪ್ಲಿಕೇಟೆಡ್ ಆರ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನ್. ಇದು ನನ್ನ ಅನುಭವದಲ್ಲಿ, ಓದಿದ ಪುಸ್ತಕದ ಬದನೆಕಾಯಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಹೇಳುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಬೇಕಾಗುವಂತ ನಿಮ್ದು ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಇಷ್ಟು ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ಇಷ್ಟು ಈವೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, ಇಷ್ಟು ಕಮಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ 8 ಬರ್ತೇನೆ, ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ಊಟಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಜೊತೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ, ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ ಹೇಳಿದ ಕೆಲಸ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಇದು ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. ನನಗೆ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗುವಂತದ್ದು ಎಂಡ್ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಯರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್. ಔಟ್ಕಮ್ ಏನು? ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಟು ಅನ್ಲೀಸ್ ದ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ವಿತ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್. ನಾವು ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡಿ ಬರ್ತೇವೆ, ಅದಲ್ಲ ಇದು. ಸೊ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಾಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಯು ಲವ್ ಯುವರ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನ್, ಲವ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ನಾನು ಖಾಲಿ ಒಂದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಲವ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲೈಕ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್. ಇದು ಕೆಲವರು ಟೀಚರ್ ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಬಸ್ಸು ಜೋಕರ್ಸ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಶನಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಟೀಚರ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹೋಗುವಾಗಲೇ ಆ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಯಾವಾಗ ಹೇಳಿಬಿಟ್ಟು, ಇಫ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಟೀಚ್ ಮ್ಯಾಥಮೆಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಟು ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಪೀಟರ್, ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ನೋ ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಥಮೆಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಬಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಪೀಟರ್. ಇವತ್ತು ನಮಗೆ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಬರೋದು, ಕಿಶೋರ್ ಹೇಳಿರಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ 80% ಟೀಚರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ನನಗೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ ನನ್ನ ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆನ್ಸ್ ಚಾನಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಟೀಚರ್ ಸರ್, ಆದ್ರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್. ನೀವು ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಟೀಚರ್ ಆಗಿ ಗುಡ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಟಾಲರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇದನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾನು ಯಾರನ್ನು ಗೊತ್ತು ಮಾಡಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋದಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿ. ಅದೇನು, ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಲಿ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾಷನೇಟ್. ಸಣ್ಣತನ ಇರಬಾರ್ದು ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ. ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಗುರುರಾಜ್ ಗರ್ಜೆ ಹೇಳಿದನ್ನು ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್ ಪಟ್ಟಾಭಿ ಬಹಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದರು. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕನಿಷ್ಠ, ಗರಿಷ್ಠ ಅಲ್ಲ ಕನಿಷ್ಠ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನು ಪ್ರೀತಿಸ್ತಾರ ಅಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರೀತಿಸಿ. ನೀವು ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠ ಟೀಚರ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಅವರನ್ನು ಪ್ರೀತಿಸಬೇಕು. ಅದು ಖಂಡಿತ ಹೌದು, ನಾವು ಅಂತನೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ, ಇಫ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ದ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್, ನನ್ನ ಕನ್ಫೆಷನ್ ಏನಿರ್ತದೆ, ದೆನ್ ದ ಟೀಚರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಟಾಟ್ ದ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್. ಬಟ್ ನೀವು ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ ಅದು ಡೈಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ಬಹುದು. ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ ನಾನು, ಟೀಚ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಟು ಹೌ ಟು ಲರ್ನ್ ದ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳೋದ ಟೈಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಡೀ ಇದರ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಸಾಯುವ ಕೊನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂಥದ್ದು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾಟ್ ಆಸ್ ವೈಸ್ ಚಾನ್ಸಲರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಕೂಡ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದದ್ದು ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಹಂತ ಹಂತವಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಕೂಡ ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟಿ ಆಗಿ ಟೆಂಪರರಿ ಟೀಚರ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದವ 3 ವರ್ಷ. ಆ ಕ್ಷಣಗಳನ್ನು ನೆನಪು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಅದು ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು, ನನ್ನನ್ನು VC ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರೇರೇಪಣೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು 92 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಕುವೆಂಪು ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿಯ ಮಮತಾ ಎಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದ ನೆನಪು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಐ ರಿಟೈರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ದ ವೈಸ್ ಚಾನ್ಸಲರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ. ಇದು ಓವರ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್. ಸೊ ಅದು ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟ್, ಅದು ಜಾಯ್ ಆಫ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್. ಮೆಚ್ಚಿದರೆ ಮರಣ ಸುಖ, ಲವ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಯು ಡೂ. ಇದು ಟೀಚರ್ಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಟೀಚರ್ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಟೀಚರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾನೆ, ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ ಅ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್. ನಾವು ಗ್ರಾಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಫಿಲ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ, ಟೀಚರ್ ಅದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಕೋಡ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೆಲವು ವಿಷಯಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು, ಅದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ಲಿ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಇವರು ಕೂಡ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಅಂತದೆಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಡೆಮಾನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪವರ್ಫುಲ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಶಿವಪ್ರಕಾಶ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಪಿಸ್ತೂಲ್ ನೋಡಿ ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮೀನು ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು. ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಯಾವ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಶಿವಪ್ರಕಾಶ್ ಕನಸಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ನೆನಪಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಇದು ಟೀಚರ್ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್, ಜನರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಅದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವಿಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹ್ಯೂಮರ್ ಕೂಡ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಮುಖ್ಯ. ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾನು ಕೂಡ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಬಡ 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 ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಹೊರ ಮುಗಿಜಾರ ನಾವು ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಪೀಚ್ ಇದಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಆದ ಕಾರಣ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ವೈಬ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಶಿವಪ್ರಕಾಶ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಂಜಸ್ ಪಟ್ಟ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಪೇಟೆಂಟ್ ಹೌದು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡೋವರಿಗೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು, ಪಬ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾನಿಲಯ ತುಂಬಾ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಉಂಟು. ನಾನು ಸ್ಲೋಗನ್ ಇದ್ದೆ, ಪೇಟೆಂಟ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ. ಬಟ್ ಎನಿವೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಚಂದ್ರಶೇಖರ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಯ್ತು. ಅವರು ಪೇಟೆಂಟ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಅವರದೇ ಎಫರ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ 8 ಬರುವವರು ಹೋಗುವಾಗ 7 ಆಗುದು. ನಾನು ಪ್ರತಿ ದಿವಸ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಅವರ ಸಂಶೋಧನಾ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ಯಾವ್ದ ಎಸ್ದದ್ದು ಅದನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು, ನಾನು ಹೇಳಬಾರ್ದು. ಸೊ ಪೇಟೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗತ್ತೆ, ಮನಸ್ಸಿದ್ರೆ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ಸೋಲ್ ಸರ್ಚಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನೀವು ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸಕರಿದ್ದವರು. ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ಮೈ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಮೈ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಟು ದಿಸ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ. ಪ್ರತಿ ದಿವಸ ಮಲಗುವ ಮೊದಲು ಈ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಉತ್ತರ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಕಂಡೇ ದಿಮಾಗ್ಸೆ ಸೋಚು. ಇದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಸ್ವರ್ಗ ನಿಶ್ಚಿತ. Unleash your potential within yourself first, then you will be able to unleash the potential within every student in the class. ನೀವೇ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಾರೆ ಅವರಿಂದ ಏನು ಅದ್ಭುತ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. PhD ಮುಖ್ಯ, ಆದ್ರೆ PhD ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅಲ್ಲ. PhD ಇದ್ದವರು ಅನೇಕರು ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋದು. ನಾನು ಹಂತದಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಇದೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬಹುದು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳುವಂತದ್ದು ಪ್ಯಾಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು obtain extraordinary performance on an ordinary student. ಬ್ರಿಲಿಯಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಬ್ರಿಲಿಯಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕಾಲರ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಹವ್ಯಾಸವನ್ನು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೂಮೆಂಟಲ್. ಸಿಟ್ಟು ಬರೋದಲ್ಲ, ಬೇಜಾರಾಗುದಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಉತ್ತರಗಳು ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿಲ್ಲ. ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಎ ಕನ್ಫೆಸರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಎ ಸೌಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುವ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಅನುಭವದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರುವಂತದ್ದು ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಯಾವಾಗ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, ಓನ್ಲಿ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಟು ಮೀ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ರಿಯಲ್ ಟೀಚರ್ ಇನ್ ಮೀ. ಒಳಗೆ ಇರುವ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕ ಎಚ್ಚರಗೊಳ್ತಾನೆ, ಅದು ಮುಖ್ಯ. ಅದರಿಂದ ನಾನು ಬೆಳೀತೇನೆ. ಇದು ನನ್ನ ಎನ್ಲೈಟೆಂಡ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್, ನಾಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫಿಶ್ನೆಸ್. ಇದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆದ ಕಾರಣ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಲಿ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾಷನೇಟ್. ಹೇಳಿ ನಾನೇನು ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇವತ್ತು ಇಡೀ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಶಿವಪ್ರಕಾಶ್ ಅವರು. ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಉಳಿದವರೆಲ್ಲ ಅವರವರ ಇದನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ನಿಮಗೆ ಇನ್ಸ್ಪೈರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ನಿಮಗೆ ಇನ್ಸ್ಪೈರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಕೆಲವು ಕಿವಿ ಮಾತುಗಳು ಹೇಳ್ಬಹುದು, ಮತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಅಲರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಈಗ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಲರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಅಲರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಏನಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಭಗವಂತನ ಹತ್ರ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥಿಸಿದಿಷ್ಟೇ, ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗೋಸ್ಕರ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಪ್ರಾಮಾಣಿಕವಾಗಿ ಬಹಳ ಪ್ರೀತಿ, ವಿಶ್ವಾಸ, ನಂಬಿಕೆಯಿಂದ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ. ನೀವು ಅತಿಥಿ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸಕರು ಅಲ್ಲ, ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸಕರು, ಗೌರವಯುತವಾದ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸಕರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಮಾತನ್ನು ಮುಗಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಶುಭವಾಗಲಿ.
Thank you, sir, for your prestigious remark. As a token of gratitude and honor, I now request the convener of today's program, Professor B.R. Manjunath, sir, to present a knowledge-based book as a token of love and gratitude to today's president, Professor P. Subramania Adapadikaya, sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Mangalore University. So once again, I request you to present a knowledge-based book to our registered Professor Kishore Kumar Sethi, Mangalore University. Thank you, sir. Now I request our one more convener, Professor A.M. Khan, sir, to present the knowledge-based books as a token of love and gratitude to Professor T.R. Chandrasekhar, sir. So once again, I request you to hand over the book to our one more speaker, Dr. S.N. Shivaprakash, sir. So once again, I request you to hand over a book as a token of love and gratitude to one more speaker, Professor Manjunath Pattadi, sir. Thank you, sir. The reward of a thing well done is having done it. However, we would be falling short of our duty if we do not recognize a thing well done and encourage it. We have Dr. Aham Khan, Professor and Chairman, Department of Electronics, solely specialized with a... Okay. May I now request, sir, the convener of induction workshop of guest lecturer to propose vote of thanks, sir, please.
Good evening to all of you. I know we are getting late, so with the permission of the president of the program, just one line before I formally propose the vote of thanks. You have heard so many expert speakers, very good teachers of our campus who have told you so many things, how you have to be as a faculty in our university. You are a faculty who can contribute for the success of the university, for taking the university to greater heights of academic excellence. First and foremost, everyone should contribute for maintaining a very good academic atmosphere, academic environment in this campus. So that is the gist of all the things. I wrote down so many things that each speaker had told. I will not go into all of those things. And for all of you, including all the speakers, especially our Honorable Vice Chancellor, it was his idea to have this induction program to the guest faculty. It was long due, and then we joined hands with the ABS, and then we have organized this program today. I, on behalf of all of you, wholeheartedly thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor for organizing such a program, for giving us this idea to organize this program. Special thanks to all our speakers, Professor K.R. Chandrasekhar, Professor Shri Prakash, Professor Manjunath Pattavi, our registrar, Professor Kishore Kumar, and our convener, Professor B.R. Manjunath, and all other teachers, members of ABS who are present here, and all of you all teachers for having come here and made this program a grand success. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, sir. With this, we are going to end this induction workshop for guest lecturer. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.